na UK, biri na Germany, biri all this oyibo, every country in the ocharo. Our people ibiricha there. Yeah, our people na we shame. Until our leaders, until people are in a position, ibido nwebi ifere. Mali ihe wuna mmadụ kwesịrị inwe pride ịpụta with international leaders ịkwụchapụta ọfụma this sound even self suit ị ga-akpọgodi n'ahụ ịpụta na this suit atapele na your skin ndị be that is ike gwụzi m eziokwu. You have a small stomach problem ịgbaragbaga na London for treatment. It still shows that you don't value your environment. When I'm a leader today, the first thing I'm gonna, the only way I'm gonna measure my progress, I'm gonna train how many people Njenje a queue up for inweta visa ije obodo oyibo. For that now more people na actually go obodo oyibo, it shows that I'm not doing my job. Getting up and obodo oyibo. Okwa just sanity, a clean environment. We also no day. You keep the environment very clean. And when trash containers everywhere. Then when law. Anamagun that they need the prisons. They need the real prisons. That is people are not that prison car. The way say the prison no oyibo. People need like Ime small thing, even nobody here like this, go and do 3 months there. You just have 3 months, but I declare, you know. But every time we don't value anything, we don't care. Amama this thing I know in our brain, amama this thing I know in our blood. We like I name it even I name it can do amama no. So to round up, but that's not. Any person I try up that, any person I got support, got will leader with pride. Or got somebody or got on anything international, let's say international conference, international whatever. Ojegudi ban Elizabeth suit kalaka, jigudi ban Elizabeth oku. Jigudi a correct barbing saloon, a clean goodie na When I want for pictures and our leaders with other foreign leaders, naked now our people say, here I was such a one and then represent again. You see? So at the end of the day, this thing I will know on how he made the thing. It's just that they don't see the place as a home. There's a difference between seeing something as your home and seeing something as just a business enterprise. So I will leave it there. Let all of us, I believe most people now object all these type of spaces. Or people with that mentality of home. But at the end of the day, we are electing people. Number one, we are electing low IQs. It's not about having PhD. You can have PhD, but you have very low IQ. My grandmother AJ secondary school, my grandmother AJ even elementary school. But the day my grandmother be at the US or be a visit him na US, now but the first time off escalator. Guess what? I purposely watch her. Nye bros or watch her can the madisha bayana that escalator. Ye J1 the same way you will even know that this woman AJ ho school. You don't need the education to have common sense. So, thank you so much, and thank you for to round up, because I support also. Ndeba needed all these young boys, not as in their 30s. You don't have to wait till you become 50 before you think about becoming a governor or running for governor and all that stuff. Like all these people, they tweet each other things. They very nice. People like Anambra Person, you know. Kezafia Okoye or something, Ucho Okoye. Only one tweet will make it one time, also no aesthetics. Like na need the leaders na like he marama. Uti madaho, we say oh ojewa form. Nyaga zo this governor. Nam drop or 2 million today. Only also drop or 2. Nobody needing on at this space can afford 2 million each. We drop 2 million. Ego Catholic. It's somebody like that. Na power. Obido go the make good the environment or the good clean. Any environment or the clean. I will brutal by not. You can now work from anywhere because internet may go that jobs have been decentralized now. You don't need to even go abroad to be working. We all come home. Marus everywhere are the clean. Hospital at this standard. Everything at this standard. Yenka, Ishina wasn't there. And thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak.
Okay. Chief, what in Emily Kanya? Okay. As a Chikwalo. Okay, let's go with a new person, Jimmy
Yeah,
Abia.
can I
Okay,
actually
let's go with.
just
Okay, God,
wanted
you've
to
been going
comment.
up and down. Deep Sky, I will come back to you. I don't know why you changed his name to Deep Sky, man. I'm so bad, bro. Chukabiko, let Okay God go. It's so funny that what Stephanie said right now. Soludo is quite an intelligent person. Hapokwa known is as in the guy is sound. Is sound person, but that's a different discussion. Okay, God.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
God.
here.
Okay.
Ndị
Yeah.
niile akpọrọ afa napụta ka bịa bee posta.
So good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Chief Kinike and everyone else on the space. So I came up to give 2 submissions. Ofuwa Juju Kambereju. I need clarity. I desperately need that clarity. It has to do with IPOP. Please forgive me. It still has to do with insecurity in Anambra State, but there is a knowledge I have, and having listened to a couple of persons speak on the space, like when Kineke spoke, some things Chief said, and somebody else, I'm beginning to think that the knowledge I have is faulty, so I would need clarity. But before I ask that question, which that was the first reason why I requested the mic, something that Sheikh said is another thing I want to speak to. So, Sheikh, you're talking about the next election coming up in Anambra State, and Ikugo say that no kita kaige bido mabandina potano is ọchịchị in Anambra State, which is true. Mana, one thing that I am looking at, because it's in a Soludo question a second chance. I agree with you. Mana, the strategy he proposed goes so far. I'm not saying that's the only thing you have in mind, but so far, nke put to go out here, say that na ekwesịghị inwe ndị ya pụta na ka anyị mara ndị na-apụta ịzọ dị ọchịchị, ka anyị nụba debate from them, so as to know who to go with. My question will now be, if that be the case, let's say we have 3-4 persons now potaketa, and maybe the debate, then we now choose, okay, this person is speaking well, or 1 or 2 of them are speaking very well as to what they can do to make Anambra State better than what it is now. Then what next? I choose the other person, then I say, okay, let's rally around the person. And in rallying around the person to now be, okay, let's campaign for the person. Then it will now be the same process of we have a candidate, we campaign for the candidate, we go to the polls, and then that. If that's the process, now, Sheikh, I'm saying, I don't know what strategies you have, but I all know the plan to just have them debate, then we choose, then we campaign, and then go to the polls. Then I think that Soludo is going to come back. And my reason I have given this, I think it was still on Chief Space the last time I spoke, in the last space he held. I'm still going to spell out those reasons. If we as a people in the Anambra, we are not planning to go and dismantle some factors that are going to play, especially among the Anambra, among the people themselves, then Soludo is going to come back. Even if we get the best candidate, we get to campaign for him and all of that. Soludo ganachi atazu. And the factors I'm talking about, rotational government. There is this thing of on that chicha, on the central chair, the north chair, and the south chair. Anambra State too, that's what I'm talking about. That rotational factor. I'm not in Anambra State. I've not lived Abumonia Anambra State, but a been rum for a long time in Anambra State. But my relatives in Anambra State and friends that I've had to converse with concerning elections in Anambra, they gave me these details in Anambra State, that this rotational factor will be a key factor in choosing who governs Anambra State. So if we're not going to go down to the grassroots to deal among our people to change the orientation of no ndachia or ndachia 8 years, ndachia the next 8 years, we need to start letting people know that it has to do first with competence. Onye gachita wine, not ndachia. It has to do first with competence.
Zoning. And then mother will have different and
Sorry.
zoning.
Yes, zoning. Please, sorry. Instead of this not rotational. So the zoning thing, we need to first go back to the grassroots. If we don't dismantle that factor among Anambra, that will make him not come back. Because like I said, I've conversed with people and they told me for so long as he is only now not on ground, Soludo is going to come back because it not turn on the central, like also the zone now to rule Anambra State. So that factor, we need to begin now. Oboro a big campaign, then they choose go the onye haya a rally around the potase no, let's start talking about the zoning thing. Is not, let's not do so. It is now that we need to dismantle that faulty orientation about no zoning against competence. The next factor is basal abga. Okay, mana Anambra State na for abga as ihe nke anyị. There is something about owning a thing and making it your own. To now tell them, give it up and go somewhere else. So are we going to be able to convince people? No, onye yesi na another party puta ka ga-eje binyela aka n'olu oge election. If we're not going to pull down that factor of Oburihe Basalo party, but personality first, as na party are the raw important, party the important. But if our people have taken Abga as their own, non-kefa, and Soludo is in Abga, if we don't pull down that factor of Abga Bunkani, then Soludo is going to come back. Then if we don't pull down that power of incumbency, now the thing of incumbency is we know the kind of things, the kind of games that an incumbent governor can play. Now the question will be, what is the plan of Funde Nasina Soludo will not come back to pull down the power of incumbency? Okay, the plan. Do you have a plan? I'm not asking you to spell it out here, only with plan, but is there a plan to pull down the power of incumbency? Then the other one, the power of federal might. Tinubu nwekwana agenda na Anambra State. Tinubu nwe plan. Onye ya gwande those states that na APC will win. They will not believe it. Keha Nanu from Edo State, because we need to learn lessons from all these people that have had elections after the general elections of 2023. We need to learn lessons. Ndị Edo State putana no haka ha na-ekwu. Ana asigi nothing APC. In fact, ana agụ ndị na-eme elections. If I ana asigi na APC enwero place, no nwere or onye Tinubu na-ebupụta and all that. We all know the dullard Tinubu brought out to take over Edo State. And he won. Okay, he didn't win. He rigged in and he got that seat. So what are we going to do? What is the plan to fight federal might? The interest of federal might in Anambra State. Get the plan. Because if we don't have a plan, or if this man, Tinubu is evil. Tinubu is evil. No can make anything to take Anambra State. I want a good plan to make sure that this plan of making Nigeria one party state, because let me tell you, Oburihi Tonu, mana, if Anambra State goes to APC, there is no other state that cannot go to APC. If Anambra State falls into APC, onwero any other states, ya had down naka APC. So what is our plan to fight federal might? And then the next question will be this issue of the fear to come out to vote. Do we have a plan as to how to convince people ma sitato modi, ma sitato madero, ma na bamba bundia pop, ma ndi Biafra, ma ndi whoever, they should come out? What is the plan to convince people that if those threats come, that they should ignore those threats and still come out and vote? What's the plan to convince people? And finally, the factor of selling votes. Okwifo, Edo State bragged Nothing. I don't know they carry last. They don't know be Lagos. Will not sell votes. Our people know they do like that. It is who they want that they would choose. It is not about selling or buying of votes. It cannot happen. Yeah, we saw it. In fact, the people were even negotiating. APC 20,000, but only 30,000. Now go with this one. Then you have to up your game and give them 30,000. This one was live. This was shown on. People were capturing it and it didn't matter. It flew. It still worked. So what now, right now, with the way things are in Nigeria, Agun, mad and all that, if Tinubu is going to bring that kind of bag of money, and the incumbent decides also to play that kind of game, what is the plan of Ndenase na Soludo not get a second chance to fight that factor of selling votes? Because Ekugom that now the last name Soludo Bata, one of the things I saw on a video clip was our people decided they won't sell their votes. From one particular video when one old woman ewele gonya owele ufuaka kwaki di man na kukusia na nyefe no onye nkai ka ige binyela aka Abga na Soludo ka ige tinye aka. But the way things are now, will people still do the same thing or will they sell their votes? If we are not ready to pull down these factors, Soludo is going to come back, or probably federal might will have its way. So that I just thought to put it out there, and I'm going to be saying this left, right, and center in any Igbo space concerning elections, so that we take care of those things, because I don't want Soludo to come back, and I don't want the federal might to have its way. So that said, let me now throw my question. Sheikh, I think you have something to say, but please let me throw my question so that you all can give clarity to everything I've had to say. So my question will go particularly to Chief, Kenike, and Ajibusu, because I think you guys have a knowledge on this thing. So the knowledge I have about insecurity Sibido, Anambra State, Budatna, what MNK was fighting before he was arrested was insecurity in Anambra State. That we were beginning to have infiltration of the kind of insecurity going on in the north by these Fulanis, the Fulanis that are trying to take over Nigeria, and that they had brought it down to, in fact, to the east generally, because we're having all sorts of attacks in Enugu State, in Imo State, in Anambra State, all around. And MNK decided to fight that, to push back on that. And that was when they started to do killings. And the killings they were doing was first of these people. Then we started having all the snake dance in Anambra State. Federal might start bringing snake dance, crocodile dance, and all of that. Then, you know, that went back and forth until this guy was now picked. Nnamdi was picked. And then the whole sit-at-home started. And then we started having all sorts of things happening in Anambra State. But that the root was Nnamdi fighting insecurity first in Anambra State. That's the knowledge I have. So if I'm wrong, I'm not sympathizing with IPOP. That's not what I'm trying to do. But like I said, it was the things I heard on this place that made me think, okay, I think you have a faulty knowledge as to how insecurity started. Because I have heard insecurity started when ESN started fighting, like when, the whole sit-at-home thing started. That was when insecurity started. But I knew what I have as knowledge is insecurity had started. Nnamdi fought that. The federal might came into play, and then Nnamdi eventually got arrested. And then the whole sit-at-home ESN thing now started. But if that's a faulty knowledge, please, I need you guys to clear me. So that's my question. I just need clarity. I want to have the right knowledge concerning,
Okay. Thank you for that question. Amamna, that's your position, and the question is going to actually twist and tweak this conversation. It will now be more like we're going back to the conversations we've had a couple of, in our previous spaces where we discussed, the cause. We've talked about this, but I will allow Sheikh to respond to you, and then I will respond as well so that we can now come back to our conversation. Sheikh.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much for that. I couldn't see who was speaking, so I can just make reference. Do you know
it's
what?
Okay, God.
Okay,
God.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. So basically, I hear you loud and clear, but the thing is, like, if you do not go on a journey, you do not know the road, right? politics in Nigeria is something that anybody who has been in the school of politics have seen that. For myself, for example, I became active in 2011. As of 2011, it was more of like, it was PDP. Then PDP would tell you like, okay, you know what? We are going to rule till 2030, no opposition, you know? And then after 2011, lo and behold, after making that statement, not too long when Audu Obe, who was then party chairman, made that statement, 2015, they were displaced, right? And we've seen before, we've never seen a third party candidate garner a lot of votes like we saw in the last election. In the past, I remember in 2011, I was still in school then and uni, and I was encouraging people to go register for their voters card. I used to even hire buses to take them to register, but most of them did not even collect the voters card. But in the last election, we saw people, young people, using their money to participate. So the point is, it is a continuum. We start from somewhere, we keep moving, and every single day we're putting another brick on the wall, right? If we don't start organizing now, when are we going to start organizing? So I want you to look at it from the perspective of leave where we end, but you need to start from somewhere. Last election, we saw what happened. We saw young people putting up billboards with their own money, you know. We saw people going to their communities to encourage their parents. We saw all of that happen. So that is what I think we need to start from. Now, in terms of candidates, there is a whole lot of things. When we talk about zoning, most times people treat zoning with a very disdain mind. But the thing I see this is, what's it called? Zoning is the fact that, for example, I come from a very minority community within a local government. And people like myself, no matter what, in my local government, we are about 2 words out of the 11 words. So it will be very difficult for somebody of such from my community to actually become something in that local government. So people like us will always favor zoning. Zoning in itself is something that, if it's a gentlemanly agreement to allow everybody to have a taste, right? But the thing is, one thing I will say is, in every community, irrespective of zoning, there are brilliant minds. If Anambra has 21 local governments, even if you want to zone per local government, there is somebody in each local government who is an amazing person that will do a fantastic job if given the job to do. So I think zoning is something that, while it is there, while we want to get to the level where we're able to say, okay, just pick the right person for the job and forget zoning, I think you want to start eating the elephant from one part. You cannot eat all of it at the same time. So you don't want to have so many things you're playing at the same time, trying to dissuade zoning, trying to do dissuade party, trying to talk about religion, church, and all of that. So you want to start from which one is your easy catch. Let us go into the zone that has, which zone is it, and go and look for a candidate. That is possible, right? So that's what I'm going to say about zoning. I'm not going to say, okay, it's something that I think it's long-term projects to try to dismantle, but at the moment, within every local government, you're going to find an amazing mind that is going to be able to deliver good governance. However, when we talk about young people organizing, is the fact that, let us even have platforms. Let us start having these conversations. One thing I've always noticed in elections in Nigeria is the fact that every candidate just comes and tells us his vision and we buy into the vision. There is no people-oriented goal that you are asking the person to say, how are you going to achieve this? So if young people come together and say, this is our blueprint for what we want in healthcare, then the question to all the candidates coming will be, see, we want to make sure that this is what we have. How are you going to achieve it? Rather than them all coming, today this person comes in and tell you, my vision is agriculture. Then 2 years later, another person comes and tell you, my vision is security. It's all over the place. And that is because there is no people developed blueprint that you will now ask them, this is our blueprint for Anambra in the next 40 years. You coming to run for the next 4 years, how are you going to take us from point A to point B before the next person come on board? That way you find out that the debates are going to be easy, because what you have is, it is difficult to access candidates because one candidate comes in and tell you, oh, I want to focus on agriculture. Another candidate comes in and tell you, I want to focus on one boy. It is all different things, so you cannot assess it. But if you create a unified standard where you are asking them the same question, like when you watch like foreign debates, when they say it's economy, how are you going to be able to take us to XYZ GDP by so time? How are you going to be able to reduce inflation to XYZ? So the questions are very specific. So that's where I think we need to go from. And then now, in terms of, I know there's this whole thing about saying young people should participate, but I also believe that we cannot go from 1 to 100. a lot of young people in actual sense, this is something I would say from my own personal experience after the Peter Obi's election. I participated in organizing for Peter Obi. But one thing I noticed post Peter Obi's election, working with a lot of the young people, I was like, if this Peter Obi had won, we would have had a problem. Because a lot of young people do not even understand governance. So it is one thing for you to be popular. It's another thing to understand that. Do you actually understand what governance is? It's not as easy as ABC. It's not as easy as putting out one tweet or the other. So it is looking for somebody who you think is an all-rounder, who has that understanding of team building, being able to understand delegations, who is able to understand economy, who is able to understand security. The person needs to have a bit and both of all those corners. So it's most time, every time we see this conversation, I always see people always looking like, oh, this person is very popular, this person is doing that. Sorry, no, it is not that way. We need to look for people who understand governance as it is. And then we can now start saying, and the best way to do this is let us start having spaces where we say, first and foremost, let us put a rallying call. Let us have people into committees. Set up the committees first to develop a blueprint. Amongst us here, if I say let us put out a call here, you'll find out that there's somebody here who has done a PhD in education. There's somebody here who has done a PhD in healthcare systems. There's somebody here who is an expert who probably works with a Fortune 500 company that has been developing blueprints in terms of economy for other countries and climes, right? We have all of these because in my years of working across with young people, I've seen that almost every sector, go globally, you go to Japan, there's one Nigerian person that is somewhere in their power industry. There's one Nigerian person in their water corporation. There's somebody in their, you go to BBC, there are young Nigerians there in PR and all of that. So these are the things. Let us have a forum whereby people can start saying this thing. Put up the web, let us have a link where you say, okay, if you feel like you want to, fill this link. This is the committee you can join. Okay, what skill set do you have? And people go into committees. Let us have a 2-hour sessions on Zoom where people are able to say, these people, healthcare, okay, 5% people are talking and all of that. And all these blueprints are coming. You have people who are doing the political strategizing. What sequence are we going to take? If you go to other climes, you see that elections, there are almost how many debates before the election, which gives you ample time to understand the candidates, understand how they think, understand their mind, go back and do your research. But here, they will not even come for debate. You won't even know what they are thinking until the day of election. When they come to communities, all you hear is Ojebego, Ojebego, Ojebego. How is Ojebego governance? So the truth is, we might not get it in this election cycle, but we have started. So I think that's where I will put it. I will say the first thing first is to start. And depending on the speed and the oomph and the resources you have, depending on how fast you're going to cover ground. But if you start now, it means that, okay, you already have something rolling. And if you don't succeed in this election, you are ready for the next election. But if we do not start, then it will leave us to the thing. And the reality is, this generation ahead of us, sorry, if you know any of them closely, I had somebody say, oh, Soludo is a brilliant mind. Soludo is a brilliant mind in what? In what generation of economies are we talking about? Just ask Soludo right now. Does he of you understand cryptocurrency? Ask Soludo as it is now. Give him a phone and tell him to log into Twitter. Will he do it by himself without somebody on aid coming to talk to him there? Ask Soludo right now that, see, can you set up an account from Nigeria in diaspora? So there are so many things that these guys know they are no longer in touch with. And the arrogance they have do not even allow young people work with them. If you work with them, it's either you say, yes, sir, morning to night. When you're working, PA, SSA, you wake up in the morning and say, in at school. If you come back, oh, you're not doing anything, wash plates in the kitchen, they start that wine. Everybody will be shouting, chairman, match me pass. That is what you have in those spaces. We need to get to a point where we are all partners on the table, whereby a candidate knows that, see, this is what it is. If I do not perform in the next 4 years, the people that got me into office, the people that rallied round, let us start having, for example, I know Afam is from Ecolobia or something, right? What happens to Afam and a few people from Ecolobia are going to say, okay, this local government, we are going to take charge of it. What happens to NjenjeMedia who is from, I forgot where you're from again. Is it Okos somewhere?
Ogidi.
Yeah, Ogidi. What happens to you and a few persons going? Because the fact is, if NjenjeMedia, if you build a house today in Ogidi and open the house, people that will come there and throw money in the air will be more than 600. So what is it that these people cannot sit down and say, how can we make this our state become a proper place? How do we all just not be able to organize ourselves? But when it comes to organizing party, if as we are right now, if one of us organize and give us invitation, all of us will show working from different plans. But we cannot sit down and say, how can we plan? If you don't plan, you plan to fail. It's as simple as that. So I'll leave it at that. In terms of insecurity, I think what you're saying is, see, Insecurity did not start just from IPOB. Insecurity across that our block in terms of the southeast region has been a long-standing issue. The only thing is that there is now like a canopy, and hence the music is beating faster, because before, like where there's no canopy, rain will come, it will disperse them, they will come back again after a while. But right now there's a full canopy and everybody's now coming to say unknown gunmen. What does unknown gunmen mean? It includes kidnappers, it includes organ traffickers, it includes cultism, it includes land grabbers, it includes calls to settle within community, it includes chieftaincy titles and all of that. All of these have now been termed unknown gunmen. But the reality is, a serious government that wants to root these things out would root it out. It's as simple as that. Anybody, all of us that are working in different organizations, we all solve problems all the time. Nobody wakes up and say, oh, I already have the plan for the problem that's going to come tomorrow. The question is, when the problem comes to your table, what do? You sit down, you go to work, you do your research, you apply your theories, and you get results. It doesn't work, you look at the things that worked, you refine it again, and you go back again. But what we've seen are people who do not give a damn. The day, watch out, one thing you know about our leaders, the day it affects them, insult Soludo today. As on this space, let one of us insult Soludo. Before the next 12 to 24 hours, they will know where this person is. But how come they never know where the criminals are? Is it possible? The reality is they know where these people are, but they do not want, because the fact is they are all tied. These are the boys they use for elections. These are the boys they use to intimidate people. So anybody who works with government, I don't want to say, but the fact is I've worked with government for a long time and I know the reality is what? Do they know? Yes, they know. Because election days, they are the ones who are still going to get these boys to use them to intimidate people for elections. Thank you.
All right. One now. Thank you so much. I will respond to that question my own way towards the end of this space, so that Kaya lead drift, because the things I will say will move this conversation totally away. In fact, because I gotta go, actually away, from it. So, but I will respond my own what I want to respond to, towards the end of the space. Can I move where the mic so that can they?
Even me too. I mean, because I speak about it every time. Did you notice
Yeah.
that Mazi Jimofo came on stage? I brought him up.
Mazi Ejimofo.
You don't remember him, the Afghan national chairman?
I know him now. He has been tagging me. He's been tagging me, yet he's still insulting me on the timeline. He doesn't even do like national publicity secretary. He insults me. If I post something, he will go there and put me and insult me. I will ignore him. He just posted something. He tagged me. I saw it. I ignored him. He wants me to help him to publish and propagate the gospel of Operation Udogache. I just ignored him. He posted a video where they posted vehicles and everything. He want me to comment. I just ignored him. Maz, I'm not here, but go here because you have questions. But if you're an anonymous, apart from anonymous,
No,
so
I
that
brought
we
him
know
on
you are
stage.
here.
He came on. He raised up his hand. I brought him on stage.
Okay. I wasn't looking at the screen that time. But on this space, let him come up. Now, also, even the commissioner, I've told commissioner, also, Biano here, these are on the here. Want to have conversations? Biano here, let us discuss. Let's move the mic to Onyeka. Then we'll go to Afonso, and we'll return back to Jimmy. Jimmy, do you want to talk? Jimmy, you've been here for quite a bit.
Because actually, when you came,
watching ọrụ onye nwe ihe ọ ga-ekwu ga-abịa ka gị na ya nwee conversation.
No, Jimmy on a mic, so that's what I'm asking. Don't take over, go take over.
Mgbe ị na-ekwu maka ndị apụghị ị na-akpọ ha gbagote ka nwee conversation.
I'm talking about the national publicity secretary and the commissioner. Let them come. We need to have conversation because I just tweeted something now. Why did it take Soludo 3 years to launch Operation Udogachi in an election year?
National Publicity Secretary ọkwa nke anyị na-anọ ebe a 2 weeks ago anyị na-anọ ebe ọ na-akọ ihe na-agba ka moto ya gbagote na ọ bụrụ ha nwee ihe ha ga-ekwu.
So why did it take Soludo 3 years? So after Kelus go lives, properties. Some of us, someone like me, with business in Anambra State, I lose 48 working days per year from my business. 48. If you calculate the number of sit down at home, and then when Anambra State per year is 48 days. They don't want one a day more because someone boy about seeing them with 2 days. So imagine taking out a month and a half from a business. No income, no nothing. But let's move the mic. Onyeka.
And your running cost, and your running cost, and your running cost will still, your running cost will still go.
I don't want to talk about that because if you and them are saying, no, running costs, you cannot go. You must pay them, but they don't come to work. So Monday now, we will see week until Tuesday. So I'll Tuesday to Thursday. Then they can go Saturday, but only few people go. They can't come in on a Saturday now, and they fellowship, they are choir, and would you stop them? What will you do? You should work there Monday to Friday. So you lose a month and a half in a year. So if you were 10 months and a half in a year. But we don't want to be talking about that. Onyeka, are you here? Onyeka, are you here? Okay. Now, Onyeka, I can't get the name of the yellow fever. Let's move to Alfonso. Alfonso, are you here, Alfonso?
Yeah, I'm here. Chief.
Okay, go ahead.
Chief, good afternoon, sir. Kenny is a chief. Good afternoon. Anyway, okay, since they are talking about the election when I joined, because I joined very late, I'm not neutral in the election. My own candidate is Valo Zibo. For a lot of reasons why I'm supporting him. I wish NjenjeMedia chat that I had the opportunity to talk with Soludo. I would have asked him about those two policemen that died when he declared at Ethiopia. That would have been a way to test how compassionate he is about the things and affairs of people. Because just like many people already know, Soludo it doesn't like our this position of this mindset of his Onyangwanam. And the truth of the matter is this: when Val came to NjenjeMedia, and I told him personally that the last election I didn't support him, but I reminded him of an incident. One young man, very brilliant young man that died, who was one of his campaign personnel before he won the primaries. And the good thing about it is that Val remembers the person, and in his word, and I take his word, that he continues to communicate with the parents of the deceased, and he still supports the family up to this moment. And after looking at that, I think if I didn't have enough reasons to support him in time past, I know I will have enough to support him today. And he has been able to outline his message the way is good and the way is very okay for people to understand. He's going to work with people, he's consulting with the people, he's talking with the people, and the people will decide. Yeah, as for some of the points that Oge made, yeah, some of them are very valid. The case of zoning, let me start with zoning. Yeah, there wasn't much of zoning in Anambra State until APGA introduced it in 2014 when Obiano became governor, right? But there's something I always said. Zoning is not supposed to be perpetual something, like just like when you have quota system. When it serves its purpose, you throw it away and base it basically on competence. Yes, I believe, just like Peter Obi and everybody, I believe in zoning, and that was what Alex Ekwueme fixed when he created the sixth geopolitical zone. Let it go around the sixth geopolitical zone. After that, it can come from any place. So, for a person, this is my this thing on zoning, and I believe message we sell, and I will relate to everybody on ground, and many of our people know it. Anambra is one of the uh, most homogeneous states in Nigeria, if not the most. So we don't basically care where the person comes from, but we actually do care a little bit. But this is the truth about zoning. By the time Soludo would have done his 4 years, every single part of Anambra State would have had at least 4 years short. 8 years short in the governorship. So Njenje is from Anambra South, the same zone where I come from. Soludo will be doing 4 years. So you add it is 8 years. Chris Ngige and Peter Obi are from Central. By the time you add their tenure, it will be 11 years. Obiano has done 8 years. So the next governor can come from anywhere. It doesn't matter. Then secondly, on the issue of Apuga. Apuga was already almost dead until Soludo resurrected them. And they died a second death after that history beckons later. We are just waiting to bury them in the next election. So we are calling on the other political party, be it Labour Party, be it especially Labour Party, to do the right thing and give the right candidate. Whatever they are doing, whether Abure this, we don't care. The people who are running the Labour Party affair in Anambra are Anambra people. So they should give the right candidates the tickets so that we know where we belong to. Because this will be the biggest problem. If they repeat what they did in Imo State and other states where they have done it, if they repeat such a thing, I will have no option than Soludo second tenor. They shouldn't do that nonsense. They should give the right candidate the tickets. And if they give the right candidate the ticket, and me, I don't think anybody else you can be looking at any other candidate as now. Valos will use first 2 years to assess the government of Soludo, and he was on Arai TV 2 years after to assess his government, and he gave the best assessments. He even came to space here to address the issue, and now he's speaking on issue. He's talking about issues. The other ones, no other person is actually serious about what they are doing. Other people are busy either lobbying their political party or negotiating with the federal government on how they will manipulate the election result. Yes, the Anambra will come out. We are not afraid of anything, and we made it clear in the last presidential election. Nobody will ever intimidate us when it comes to election. We'll come out and vote, and we'll vote for the candidate of our choice. But the most important thing is that these political parties should give us a candidate that we can rally behind. Anything short of that, there won't be any other option. For the federal minds, yes, APC planning so hard on how to rig the election. But the truth of the matter is this: if the people of Anambra wants to decide who the governor will be, Anambra State will have the next governor. But for me as a person, and I say it here and I say it categorically, I'm with Val Ozibo. I'm going to be supporting him. But if LP and any other party doesn't give us the right candidate, I will have no other option than to stick with Soludo, because outside that, what we'll be having is APC putting somebody that will do Tinubu's bidding in Anambra State, and that will not go well with us. So it is basically it's basically supposed to be one horse race. That's people rallying behind the governor that we want to deliver him in the next election. But maybe it's going to be two horse race between the real opposition, which is Val and Soludo, and Val will definitely be Soludo because he has underperformed. We don't want a candidate or a governor who will be playing politics with with everything, including what's it called, including our security, which is the most important. But for APC, they are waiting on probably we in the opposition and the Labour Party to demarket Soludo enough so that they will use the opportunity to rig the election. So I think I'm ending by this. Everybody should tell the Labour Party or any other party. At least I think we should even stick with Labour Party, because there's no time to start moving to a new political party and start flinging another logo and start calling other names and all these things. So I think they should do the right thing, despite how bad they have been. Give ticket to the right candidates and let us rally around him, because you cannot tell me that I'll be giving ticket to someone who we don't even know, or who has not declared his interest to run, who has not assessed Soludo's government and all these things. These are the most important issues. So outside that, this is where I want to end this. So for me, I am not going to be neutral, but if Labour Party fails to give the right candidate, it will be choosing between the lesser of the two evils, and Apuga will be a lesser evil than APC. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, everybody. This is my own take on it. Okay, 1 second on the insecurity. For me, like
Nah,
okay,
yeah, hold on. No, we can't give you that time. You spent 12 minutes discussing
12 minutes. Okay,
Anambra
okay.
political
Thank you,
position.
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank
Thank
you.
you. You have to, I'm going to try to then you have to raise your hand. I actually
Yeah,
allowed you to land before I correct you
yeah,
because
thank you,
you
thank you.
dwelt more on Anambra election. More if I can Kalieba. Because it's more like when you're running the election. I am not campaigning for Valentine Ozibo. I am not campaigning for Soludo. I'm not campaigning for anybody until we see seriousness. My Valentino, my Soludo, all of them are not serious. This is my opinion. All of them are not serious. Go and tell Valentine I said so. He's not serious. Anambra State no. If I upon a Malaka Jueche, I can only Anambra Chita if Malaki Jachia, Imana Ebora if I name. They are not serious. But let's move. Let's move the mic. Keze okay up okay kai bu I gen to ndaka fan on while we start winding down. I know go for almost 6 hours. Deep Sky, or the going feature add na if I then maybe we'll now go to general. Deep Sky.
I'm my brother, Ghana Mberekenekwa Mono. Just to reiterate if I am Kumakia. Soludo, governor, Ogama the whole idea, Ogami Yoga go position. You understand? Man, only a Makesha Baka. And again, yeah, we should stop playing politics with insecurity at Anambra. Let me say it again. Our statement will make it today. Yeah, on our launch operation, Dogach. Acknowledging them we keep Obuli Obia not be Equosilia. He's still playing politics with it and not Dorokwanama. Yeah, there's no Kena go off. Gab Makanda number. Then you eventually could be famous if a shake you could before. If I be friend of Nana, no, I resonate with it very, very much because no if they lie. The future about money for that if I go when they define it. Understand? What I am at point in any way. Say a Bible les ma Bible onye ndo. Kama na ọ bụ na be gị, ọ bụ nna gị, na obodo gị na-amasị gị. You come together, work together as a team, and forge the future for yourself. Because again, only the goes to invested outside. We can have to be as village work about another Christmas or house also na. But ọ bụrụ na enwere ife ilo na enwe ife dị mma ịchọ ka o mee na be gị, then you have to put in the work. You have to commit your time and resources. And if I only take you one time because I broke one no if the free, I not take your time. You will have to stress yourself a lot. So and please don't say that no man be involved in the next election. Now I need another for but I buy generally. But can if political leadership, I am really abandoned since 1999. And open I get fix, I get educator, fix the beer. My open I fix here, which is something I've always been saying since 2021. Open I address all this political leadership problem. I when I buy. If open I tell before I educator, can I multiply? The other saying they quote, I think not on a specific, not on a specific space in the business. In Ireland since 1999, I know 2 axes of resistance. Nani, Onitsha and Aba. The good, the bad is ugly. Eba coach, both of them. Eba plan here and in a for meche. My security or my Canada now on the Shanda back and a plan here. And those one the name of business, and within our plan, all one aga. But here they are those 2 axes. We're going with those 2 axes will be a way peace. At least in Cornicha. I am a coach who did at 2005 before Peter Bibata. At the end of the day, even in a July, but can again that leadership gap. May address at the time. And can many address, no see na issue one and the feel of how about cheer. They know how Bundi guy decided to get me. When they saw that no we go leadership, they all left. Even some they calmed down. In Naba, short, I don't know about Chukuna Muzala and Babia State, better. Na only the Alex to take it at the Abolo governor. The Zion and Abba, the Zion Abia State. One was in an insecurity at the Jugu. I was in Nigeria, I still remember in 2022. Enugu Port Harcourt Highway, Ada Eba hotbed, then almost we kidnap more than 40 people on that road. The same road kind of we kidnap a bishop in the Methodist. Baninke, Bulumbahu, all of those axes from boundary between Abia State and Imo State to Ada Agiaga. But today, when governance there, those things, do you know why you're in I'm still shocked. And I make another pocket of violence, but mostly the side in Imo State, Why? Because that leadership, you understand, that whole, mature that whole, fix obele. So we need to take this conversation seriously. I said I'm not guy resolve today, but watching I've always said it, only open any host to space, they discuss Maka and Igbo. It means that you are interested. And being interested means that you need to also find out all of the efforts that you can make to help address the problem when abide. And this conversation around governance and holding political leaders accountable is part of the things that we can do. But we need to start organizing ourselves. Ajibusu, I'm a able US citizen. But you are still invested in Anambra. We'll go back to Mando's I much on a space. Is a cheap I'm need the American boy, but okay, go on big go to House of Reps if there's one number. You understand? Stephanie, you are not left out. You are not left out. You State House of Assembly, you understand? So it is important that we start identifying ourselves.
Because so long
as we are part of the government, what if I get mega? Only Igbo no na House of Reps, no na Senate House of Reps, not walked out of the assembly. But budget in the police. He walked out and where million. Even you look at the short, Koboko is allowed. You understand? So we need to start having this conversation, and let's not do it late, because the politicians themselves, they make plans. Of course, the Basara number election, he discussed with us in 2022. But we cannot continue to allow that to happen as a people, as a race, because at the end of the day, I'm an old man now, I wasn't a young man, but the future of Igbo is actually dependent on us. The younger ones, in the 20, in the 18. So, but we need to lead that conversation through any means possible. You understand? How this fire brigade approach, 9 minutes effort. The conversation around the giving our people reorientation about agitation, Biafra, insecurity, referendum, Oshia and Oshia, politics, governance. We must lead it. And in so doing, you are going to start identifying people who have the capacity to lead, who have the capacity to engage, who have the capacity to lobby. Even now, we should start even organizing ourselves to start having conversations with these people beyond even on social media. We need to start making sure that there will be consequences. Namma the Guardian space, the so-called commissioner of police, commissioner of information, the schedule space, or be a mamon or 10 minutes scandal, or may disappear, did not even issue any apology. And amazing, next thing, I say an OJ host was AJ based space, organize the Abu. It is an insult to us as a people. So we need to stand our ground. Because I've been hearing some kepu which I don't necessarily agree with. But if you guys are looking up to a person to say, no, yeah, but candidates, and the person is not forthcoming, let's all of us together find somebody. I got CDI, Biaje, even watching a mellow. I don't know Valentine.
Okoye.
I don't know him. I don't know him. I don't know him that much. Sorry, let me round up. I don't know him that much, but I feel like I'm seeing him like somebody who is like Omar Ebo. Nah, we can go spend in the last election. We can, but I think I feel for now. You understand? So he's not even willing to show up. If that is the problem, we need to actually interface with him. Kamal, you understand? Obiaka, DJ, gonna be your problem. This is what we want from you. Can you do it? I was gonna work you will see okay no mam clear. We know okay, or may all go clear no mam no wafer. On the other hand, okay, other people. Because our brothers also has space, the people they know when they are that the Twitter, when they are on social media, they also have capacity. We're both old and young. Let's not make it only young people. Both aged people that are willing, that understand, and we put the interest of Anambra people first. Because the problem is they wake it up. When you just say, okay, let me put my people first. Let me make Anambra first, not my own personal interest first. That is what we need. But then another thing like the most times we always focus on the center of the position. Abia kita anyị na-ekwu maka Nigeria, onye ọbụla akpụrụ Tinubu n'ọnụ, onwere onye ga-ekwu House of Reps, onwere onye ga-ekwu Senate. Abia na steeti akpụrụ gọvanọ n'ọnụ, onwere onye ga-ekwu Deputy Governor, onwere onye ga-ekwu State House of Assembly. Let me say it again. Here in the book, Anambra State House of Assembly members. I don't care if any of them is your family member. They kidnap one of them. They have not been able to shake Anambra. They've not been able to come out a mass to make a stand on insecurity. Before Habutaku. You understand? So we need people who can also go there. In the next election, the State House of Assembly election is not happening now. It's probably going to happen in 2027. But at the same time, we need people who are vocal, who understand governance, who understand legislative activities. So that I don't care, he will be confronted. Anambra State kidnap, they are always first. Anambra State kidnap governor. The same Anambra State who's impeach a governor. You understand? I'm a made the impeachment in Anambra under P2B. Why is it that Kenya cannot keep a yes member? I will open a solution. You impeach him. Send him back to his village. Because he's a village man. Oh, Oxford, I didn't know a village man. Yeah, my governor Kuzelia Keshi governance. You understand? But then the point is, collectively we must be involved. I understand all the reason because some of you are also threatened, some of you have your personal.
Deep sky.
My governor won a PhD, but at least Ojelo, Kafia, Sloan School of Business. No, not Sloan School, Ken Cardinal, Oxford. This business school, Syed School of Business. Thank you. Oga Syed School of Business. Oga child, man, I think Ojo in Harvard too. So, okay, you got PhD. I'm the mother that much here. I said, absolutely, that PhD is very, very learned. Do you know what it takes to go to all of these schools, one after the other? Sloan School of Business, Harvard School of Business, 1, 2, 3, 4 School of Business. All experience kind of gather. You understand? So the point is that everybody should get up. Many people have mentioned you. I will not want you to start with the governor because I'm not very, very complex. But at least if we can have you in the State House of Assembly, I think it's actually going to make a change. And more people like you. I'm going to go on leave for like 2 years. Anambra, Abuja. You need to come back to Anambra and demonstrate some of the more than sign foreign affairs. State diplomacy and legislative activities. You understand? These things are needed because at the end of the day, this is how we are going to actually change the conversation. At the end of the day, this is how we are going to at least create a baseline for leadership in our league. No bros also antagonize more than complain na you do and if you are madram and if you are madram. If they are making the politics so tough, let's decentralize it. Let's use our own influence to decentralize it. We have the social media. Do we get them again? If you make this thing, if you create a pipeline for this, in the next 1 year, 2 years, we are going to see meaningful results. So, and again, this conversation goes to both male and female. But also working. You understand? Okay, God, I've heard you many times on spaces. To be honest, you can even do well as a counselor because I remember what happened last year, at the beginning of last year when we had insecurity in Plateau State. I saw how you were taking the risk to go to Plateau State, which you are proud that maybe you have lived there majority of your life, but people were contributing money. You were going there to offer aid, doing social work, coming to social media to give accountability of how the monies that were created by people, how it was spent, with pictures, with records and everything. Accountability is key. So tomorrow,
Sorry, that wasn't
I think
me.
I believe that is actually
That wasn't me. That was Rhoda.
That was who?
That was, I schooled on the Plateau, but that wasn't me. That's Rhoda Sanda, not me. Oh. I do everything I do
But both
internally.
of you,
Not
you were part of the team.
yes, I was, but I wasn't the one on the ground.
So muchie mic again. So don't. I know you're scared now because I go gaffer. That I might be kita for this. So I understand. I know where you're coming from. I also know the role you played. But that is actually what demonstrating capacity. Watching a meloketa, he's very very vocal. He knows how to lobby. Guinea we keba chamba now. Tomorrow Guinea settle. You understand? Obodo they do no be. So that's by the way, all of us have a role to play. Uche Okoye have been short. He has led a lot of sensitization on social media for many years. Even some of the conversations people are having today, started talking about it many years ago. Ajibu Subo, now you go and shoot your shots or show more wine. And we can have a shot, but I don't know. But all of us have many skills that we can put forward to help find a lasting solution to our problem. But one thing we must do right now is that we need to organize ourselves to start engaging these people beyond social media. We need to start engaging them. Mass, God forbid, you understand? But which in kind of plan, I'm not from Anambra. If I'm from Anambra, maybe, but I'm not invested in that election now. I want change. But we can start from holding him accountable. We need to start delivering governance to the people of Anambra. And part of it involves we engaging him. Also, no problem now. Ọ bụrụ na ọsụsụ na ọ bụrụ ya based on ya gwa na ọ bụrụ ọsụsụ ya bụ eka this stubborn. Ọ mụ ka ọ ga-abụ ka ọ ga-afụ na ndị ke this stubborn. You understand? But let me stop here. Watching Emelu, we need to have this space again. That space, Gab, we focus squarely on this conversation. We need to have it. And we need to get more people involved. We need to also amplify it. You make sure no only abuna Gaba no welo kunolu onwelo ime na ani Igbo. You know also sabata Christmas kita again make sure you made it to December. Boom wine. You go run or tan, but we need to start going beyond that. Look at what Alex Onya na Gaius na Hemeketa. Just meeting each other in a few days and they announced starting a project that is going to actually outlive them in the Southeast. But at least we can stretch it further than that and get it into governance and many other things in the Southeast. Thank you very much.
Okay. Watching the MLS at you guys are not there. Anyway, so I don't know. Afam, not Afam. Anambra Festo. You guys are not hearing me.
I'm hearing you.
I can hear you.
Okay. Okay, God. Yeah,
network.
Between Afam na Ifanya, Mama Ibuzo Bogote. I think maybe in Ifanya Ibuzo Bogote. Sorry, between Uche na Ifanya, Mama Ibuzo Bogote. I think Ifanya Ibuzo Bogote. What's your neighbor?
What's your name is here? Yes.
Yes, I'm here now.
I think no Ifanya Ibuzo Bogote.
Okay,
Deep Sky. First of all, I'm not going to change if I get to Deep Sky. It's abandoned and Kaima, so that when I got book here and you see Kaima Kaigi book here. Deep Sky, Oku, Koto Kasiga, Yotago, Ija Nejeta Aka. Mana, journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step forward, you know. And I think we've already started doing something by coming here, you know, every other Eke Market day to throw up conversation. You know, whether my mother or here, I'm na ndị nọ n'ọkwa ndị nọ n'ọkwa ọchịchị na-anụ ihe anyị na-ekwu. You know, they talk about it, they discuss it. How were their soldiers na this street? You know, at times some of them enwe mind gbagote, you know, asakwa onye ahụ obulukwa feedback nakwuo ogi ya. It's just that na their reactions na adịba either almost non-existent or extremely slow. You know, obviously na ha na-agbanye ndị mmadụ na nsị na ha enweghị time for ndị mmadụ, but anyị ama nkwụsị, you know, because na asị na nke onye ga-eme ya menwuo ndị ga-eti otiti tiri, ndị ga-eti mkpụkpọ tiri. So onye ọbụla ga na-eme nke ọ ga-emenwu, but gradually we would have to step up from counting 1 to counting 2 and 3, you know, for effective results. Having said that, well done, Deep Sky Ikugo. Okuiku, you've always been on that position in Ikugo. I think Nefani Bagote before Uche. So Ifani
Yeah,
Okoye ga,
but before
then Uche
they
Okoye
go,
ga.
let me just say out one or two things I just grasped from. I haven't really. This is just a disclaimer. I haven't really gone through the document, the bill, they signed today in Anambra State, the security measures. But one of the things I noted there, of which I'm asking, because okay, it's as if not this thing about a coincidence. Today we fixed to have this conversation is the day they are launching the whole thing, and part of the things I saw there obviously will override what we are discussing here because it's more like a matter more, maybe it's just a coincidence that some of the things we highlighted on the 2 previous spaces, none of the document already. So it's more like, okay, so this is what government is, saying and they want to do. But our own now will be on the lookout to look at it and see what is going on, get full information. I will still invite the commissioner to come here. He has been ignoring my messages, but I will still go back to him because we need to ask him that question he's running away from. So one of the things I'm for there, but a system of confidential and anonymous reporting of crime, because one of the issues I went within security in Anambra State, apart from the political will to act, but people don't want to talk. When you want to say anything, they will come here and carry you. So it's something I find really interesting. And one thing is, when you've lost trust in government, whatever they put out, no matter how genuine and how impressive it looks, you always have this question like, are they really going to protect people, do this thing? So what is the process going to be like? Okay, and we're going emergency number to call. I saw they railed out like vehicles, for obviously Mandi Vigilante, Mandami, Mandi Police, everybody, will get vehicles. I remember how they would distribute that, but from what I've just gone through why people were talking, I was just going online and looking at stuff. So I think it's interesting that they have that anonymous, because also now one of the things I wanted to highlight here towards the ending of this conversation, so that we'll talk about it, each community having a means of knowing the number to call or to send a message to say, okay, if we find notice, if you don't want to be known, so that he able a target. But then government is also stepping in, and it appears like I'm see whether they've been listening to us, or I don't know. I want to believe so, or maybe not just coincidence that we're having the same line of thoughts in terms of security measures. So one of the things, let me highlight the things I saw there. Each station, and then where any crime for record for the month will get 10 million naira. 10 million. I went issue with it. But maybe next month I'm well of Enugu State. Maybe one of the spaces will be to actually review, these things when we will have more time to go through the documents. And I will encourage everybody not here. Look for that document, go through it so that I can go on not just information or propaganda. I get video in push now. Next thing now, why now enable 100, then on a value of Lilu. You will just hear something now within the next 2 days. So, but read through the document so that I can open and more information firsthand. Then when we converge to review it, maybe next month or 2, probably to see how far they've gone, so that another government, another Hoffman, Then the second one about that, anonymous reporting. Then the third one about new security outfit, Agone Chamber. They're going to obviously be armed, and they're going to join AVG. So it's a combination, more like a joint force of the security, the police, the army, the AVG, the Agone Chamber group. So everything together will be part of the. Sorry, Chuka, you said something.
Like a joint task force.
Yeah, joint task force. So they are the people that make up the Operation Udogachi. So I don't want to be pessimistic. Let me put it that way. So let me just keep an open mind. But my grouse is, why wait for 3 years? Why? This is something someone who is serious, before you even take over, before swearing in, you would have known what to do, so that in our banner, just like in bad, just like Oti, you hit the ground running. Now within 6 months, you may go distant launch, strike everybody. We won't be having this conversation. Now, what we should be discussing is something I mentioned here, which is a gentrification. It should be our next major topic for Anibo. We need to start talking about gentrification of our major cities, Onitsha, Owerri, Enugu, Aba, Umuahia, all these places that in the 70s and in the 80s and even 90s, they were decent. Even 2000 self, because in the early 2000s, some places, well, let me put it in the 90s, because as at 2000, part of Enugu Road, Umaze, so these things are things we need to start talking about, because they still have the layouts, right? They still have, the wiring, the drainage system, and everything. We just need to revamp them. We just need to, so that we're just moving away to, lands, outside. Meanwhile, the main cities, the places that should be high street, na UK, or downtown America, na Nibo, is just, left desolate. We need to start talking about those things. We need to start really, pushing for us to start, that gentrification process now. So I think we'll discuss it next month with Enugu State issue. So I just want to put it out there while we wind up, but we might also kind of touch one. Well.
watching okwu ikwu kwọta ka ihe onye ọbụla ma. Just without wasting time, because I got a general, so that onye ọbụla tinite okwu. Ifeanyi, ka I know from you, then I ejee to Chokoye Anambra first son. Ifeanyi Okoye, ngwa biko kpọpee mic gị.
Ekene m onye ọbụla ahụ. Based on ife watching the Melukwu, the only thing I was listening when I get, I was looking for the area of fighting crime through tech, not just fully manpower, and I couldn't see those things. Am I more Google, or is it there or it's not there? Like installation of smart camera using intelligence, but from all those things. So watching them, why after 3 years? Soludo is serious type. So nobody should be surprised. All these things is jet towards election. Then couple of 3-4 months, Emeba married. By November, election. So it just found Emeba. I wash. So I don't see any new thing he's going to do, but it's good he takes that step. Then people should hold him accountable if he's willing to put in the effort at the time being. So yes, information gathering at the community level. Chemical installation of camera, tracking tools, because these are necessary things ekwesị inwe. Ihe na-asị mmadụ ya baba n'ime ọfịa with just intel and no tracking tools, no GPS, no area surveillance. So all those things, Amaro, or I don't know, I'll go and the document that I will find time to look for it and go through it. But those are one of the integral parts of security. So insecurity in Anambra, I hope it ends soon with the effort 80 go so far, but the governor has not been on his game. Some people here say non dey Ebubago or ESN cause of the insecurity in the east, but I want to disagree because nature abhors vacuum. Even when vacuum, something must give taking. So, and it's those vacuum that breeded all this insecurity and apathy today in Anambra. So it's just it. It's so unfortunate that we have a professor who speaks big English, no action. And or if you feel like an Anambra on, yeah, we don't need such people again. Professors are not good administrators. They are better as technocrats. But at this period, I don't see anybody here defeat Soludo second term. Let's just manage the menace.
All right, Wanda, thank you so much. It's only somebody that just want to, sound like they are not interested or serious with affairs of the Anambra that will know that this step by Soludo is very political. It's very, very political. We can argue anything. We can argue it all day, but it's very political because Obugo knew a very good will. I mean, knew a very good idea of why wait for 3 years? Why? Okay, the defense, the Afghan Enyebo. Oh, when he came in, then about 7, local government, another Baba, all those kind of okay, you knew this problem were there when you came in, and then while you were there, the entire Ihiala, which is one of the biggest local government anywhere, Anambra State, were taken over. The entire, when we mean entire, from Okija down to a boundary between Amoka and Kedivana, where this village, before Amoka, Anambra part, Asia. So, taking over to Osumowu, to Lilu, entire Ihiala local government. In any excuse, that anyway, like I said, I would like to bring the commissioner here so that we can, have conversation. But if not, that's okay. We'll be dragging them. We know they are listening. We know you listen to us. You are hearing us. Your e-talks, SSAs and SAs. I know you people are here. Anonymous. We know you are here. So you listen to what we are saying. You people are not serious. You people are very wicked. People are very wicked. You waited for 3 years to be serious with security of lives and properties of Ndi Anambra. People are very mean. And you want us to start talking about it, to start pushing it. Few months to the next election. All this while. Why wait till now? If people are not wicked.
Another thing Ekwesi do say, how much is the budget for those things? Kamal, what they are spending, whether it's value for money. Because if I will taxpayers' money again,
we'll get to that one. After all, when I talked about the documentation, someone, I'm asking Jim that question. Was I expecting them to document, investigation? So we'll get to that one. We'll get to it.
Watching a mellow, watching a mellow. Although none of them may sound pessimistic, right? But now, only obuna that can count 10 na here. Onye ọbụla ga-eji nwe ili agụ ezi ọnụ mana ihe a na-eme today bụ jamboree.
Oh, well, like I said, I don't want to sound pessimistic. Yeah.
Because
the things he raised, just a couple of points he raised ago here, right? Oh, kita ka moto pụta, kita ka ama na enwe moto, na-eji moto achụ ndị ori. Kita ka ama that na na-aga assemble ndị mmadụ, right? After a whole lot of, and the idea of a problem I went in Nigeria. Please pay attention to this, right? You rarely see this in other countries because then we'll go infrastructure on it. Just work with what is on ground. Anytime I hear in Nigeria, I think I set your up committee. One forget it. I think I set your up committee. First of all, I get waste to go a whole lot of resources because committee get seat, I get set member. I got done like internal struggling and tussles on who is going to lead the committee. Idi privy, right? Idi privy to the information and the goings and comings of that process. If this thing they feel will go on arrival. Because even the person Gabo committee chairman, that committee goes so many things that not by the committee, ihe ọ na-ene anya bụ ka ihe bụ return on investment ya, right? So this issue of enwekwa an issue as I can set ya up this ga tackle ya as if ka ọ na-enwebuho structure on ground to deal with those things. It's just a natural red flag. But nke anyị ji bụrụ mmadụ, anyị ga-asị, you know what? Let's give benefit of doubt. Let's keep an open mind. All of us chọrọ ka Anambra dị mma. All of us chọrọ ka ana Igbo dị mma. Ana Igbo eburokwa na Igbo like that, right? So the bottom line is, let's pray and hope. We 100% wish every governor well. Every governor ihe ọbụla ọ na-eme, because onye ọbụla chọrọ ka ana Igbo dị mma. Onye bịa na-agba ọkụ obi aṅụrị ya na-akpịa. Onwero. So this is quite funny. Well, let's keep an open mind. Let's pray it works. We just want insecurity to stop. Just kwụsị. End of. Ndị mmadụ onye naba n'abalị ọ lara ụla mechie anya. Onye pụọ apụọ bataba obi ama na-amapụ ya. So that things will thrive. Things will start working. People will start breathing. People will start enjoying our culture. Fundi beha afụ ha. It will go a whole lot of us na man talk on. Because in my situation of things, you cannot risk it. You can't. It's just too huge. But let's move the mic. Uche Okoye, Anambra first one. Big over to
Yeah,
you.
Dalu Eze Chikwelu. Kenike ana m ekene gị. Nwa Chinemelu ị na-agbani ọ ga-adịrị gị na mma. Ọ ga-adịrị anyị Igbo na mma, ọ ga-adịrị anyị Anambra na mma. Nke bụ eziokwu bụ na after 3 years, Soludo Chevala Anambra State, he finally agrees to protect us by launching the most sophisticated Udogachi, using refurbished cars, 2004 Sienna in 2025. I don't have problem with all these things.
Uche, biko
Uche,
no.
Uche.
Uche ọkụ ifugo,
Uche,
Uche ọkụ ifugo, ịtọpego ngịga, ịtọpego ọkụ ekwuru ya. Uche ijọs bụ tres ya nkwu in the last few
Mana
seconds.
we are officially in general. We are officially in general. So, Uche, go
Mana
ahead.
just
Biko.
watch the video kita na my BP gbago. I watching the video kita na BP m wee gbago. Because I was quite excited. To be honest, I'm excited. I was hoping that it's going to. Because achọrọ m ị na-agagharị na Anambra. Ụzọ ọmalịcha ụzọ niile ọlụ. Kedu ka anyị esi wee gaa anya bụ ụzọ? Ụzọ niile asị na alụkwala ụzọ. Mara asị. Soludo lụrụ ụzọ. Ọ na-eti ụzọ anyị mmọnwụ, especially OAU. Ọ na-eti ya mmọnwụ. So he has really done so much in terms of road construction. Mana kedu ka esi gbanya bụ ụzọ? Ọ nchọ ịga ụzọ mgba keke, mgbawa public transport. Mbanụ. So afụgo m the rollout plan, afụgo m no, in fact the video go say that na ike gwụ anyị nọ na nsogbu. Kenike anyị nọ na nsogbu dị na Anambra State. Mana ka a na-ene anya, I'm very optimistic. I'm very, very, very optimistic. Mana ọ bụrụ ụkwụ a ka esi wee jee Aba, ọ bụrụ ụkwụ a ka ga-eji jee Aba. You know, when we talk about security, a na-ekwukwa n'inya bụ ife. Ọ bụchara that na a ga-enwe enough personnel to secure the entire Anambra State. Enwere ihe ebube ị ga-ewe ime, enwegasị some things ị ga-ewe ime o scare where these people. Ịghọtago? Ekwugo m ihe a kemgbe si. Ever since Soludo batara ọchịchị ihe niile a na-eme, enwebere a very high profile case at Boston. How? Some of these people ha na-send a MEF interrogates. We're able to fetch information from them. Links, the people they relay with, bring all this information to public. Let people know, the masses know that now, especially these criminals, that now their movements are being monitored, that there's no way they can escape it. I tell you, the most of these people now are committing this crime are illiterates. They leave a lot of trails that if government is very serious, they can just pick all of them up anywhere they are. Nigeria, especially Southeast, is very small. Southeast Pelumpe. We can easily identify hot areas. We can easily identify hot zones. We can easily know where these people are going to and go there and pick them up. This is not a rocket science. Mana osita demma adibarabuo. Mana odirozi, it is not too early. It is too late already, if you ask me, because few months to election, kind on ya. Few months to the election. Kedi training enya londa. Or didn't know or just imago ad hoc solution can provide. Yeah, ad hoc solution. And to be honest with you, honestly, the problem I get in West Gitana going forward is to manage or contain these people. I get this year, I get all this. We will have to now manage them because I get unleash here on the people. If I be we have a very serious problem. So, Manankosinade, like I always tell people, Anambra Bunkai, we have to be positive about it. Mana, Soludo na-eme, if you are listening to me, if Obuni na-eme, without applying technology to solving this problem, you are wasting our time, you are wasting our resources. We must embrace technology. We must. So if some of the videos on what you go, they roll you out. And where if you anything that looks like technologically inclined, anything. I like the idea of placing 5 million naira for people to report the case. I like that idea. It's going to encourage a lot of people to, expose so many people. Mana, again, very good modality. Again, make investigation. Can they report or innocent person?
Uche, sorry to interject you, man. I can't go to your question. Do you think inside you, do you believe Nagana put that money? Remember the case with the federal government 3 years ago. Oge kuluna obuna inye information, about ndena stash money 4 years ago rather, right? And when we saw blower about that money after Ikoyi apartment, if you remember, 4 years ago. What happened? It became an issue. Anyway, just go ahead. I'm just, trying to,
I understand Imana, the level of trust deficit when a government. I don't even know if the people in government understand the level of trust deficit. Because anything funny amend them than trust. Over the years, they have failed the people over and over. So when was only not trust if I. So bringing this idea now, I know a lot of people would, agree, think it is a good thing or embrace it, but majority guys fears another, promise and fail. And even if them will be on Facebook, especially Facebook, they are everywhere insulting anybody that is pointing out these important things. Until once that is what is happening. They unleash these miscreants, like they are everywhere on social media, especially Facebook. Now, they will insult you, they take you insult to your home. They will insult you to your home. They will tell you to leave Anambra alone. And when you find that, very shameless set of people. Let me tell you, Soludo and the supporters of Soludo, Apuga does not have any strong opposition in Anambra State. As it stands now, any opposition, and when Soludo Sobu. Nobody is disturbing Soludo. How many times can we go opposition, stage a protest, organize their media campaign, and we're not anything like that? Just organic opposition from the citizens who are feeling the heat. So when a position, when you na fight, you don't have any enemy. Anybody that is complaining about the rot or the incompetence, especially this insecurity, the person loves Anambra State. So anytime when you're gonna be pro Soludo be around space, just pay attention. There are two critical points they always raise. That is politicizing the insecurity. They always point out the fact that now the people opposition are trying to take advantage. You don't have opposition. Nobody is giving you any problem. Mgbe Ifeanyi Uba nọ ndụ, he constituted the security architecture that was able to secure the entire Nnewi. He didn't make it about anti-Soludo. He didn't make it about anti-Soludo. He just did it in his capacity. A campaign against Soludo. He did not. So, kedu no nwere anything ngasi enwelu a very strong position. Okay, there is a series of values when how many times go megolia? Other two imago too strong. He used a lot of
I think a valid or serious. I've said it in my personal
very
opinion.
if you look that now when criticize Soludo with their enemy, you don't have enemy in this state. You don't even have a position, no strong opposition that is willing to fight you toe to toe. And we're home. They are looking at you, hoping that you're going to deliver something very time. So the entire Anambra are the opposition. They are the ones saying, look, this thing and Roma. Then unleash a lot of venoms on them. Then the second thing Fana point out is to tell the Anambra that the people who are perpetrating this crime are not from Anambra. I said this every time. Our people, we must rise above this primordial sentiment, especially this one that is coming from the government, because also from Anambra state governments. Anugomia no Soludo, Anugomia a lot from the mouths of a lot of people in government. And I always argue with them. You say, this thing make no sense. You cannot be saying this. You cannot be saying this. Hana put up publicly near Kuifa. Nandi name Anambra State Kafas. Hana one these citizens. And the imago, the way what they fail to understand, because I always tell people when you send out a message, that message carries a lot of weight. And it's not everybody that will process that message the same way you think that message should be processed. And when they have fear from a place of, okay, doesn't a medicine, okay, let's protect our states, right? When they have fear and interpret it differently, let's go after these people.
Now,
You have
man, you are too intelligent. You are too, like, when I say your IQ is really high, you are like, your IQ is really, really high.
Stephania,
I want you
see
as
me
a governor,
blushing.
period. I want you as a
Biko
governor, no other option.
Because
Stephanie, I na-encourage you ịba na DM. So mba na DM je kpa ihe a. Amasụkwa m ihe nwunye uche ga-agwa gị, but ka anyị gaa n'iru biko.
So let me summarize because so you're not just you steady but can they buy any again, they pay attention because anytime they start dribbling towards that and stop offer immediately. Pause offer immediately. Because I had told that story. Imana, when they create that feel that no outside us with their problem, then the people will now start making excuses for the government. That is what they are hoping to achieve with that stupid narrative. Now, fear say a very from fear nature and how the intention is to engineer the minds of Ndanambra to start seeing the problem that's supposed to be solved by Soludo as a standard problem, right? So you have to say no broken fault here, no na try no ndozo na be maybe state because na Anambra state na Ijiego now they want to go those kind of nonsense. If you bend down this thing, itema hammer if so let's also be very, 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 very active in shutting down some of these nonsense narratives because it's not going to help anybody. Also, how I call get help. So that's what I want to say. Watching the Melodalun.
Uchi, Uchi, as always, we knew you know what you're saying, because you're on ground to begin with. Watching a Leoneba, just to confirm, okay. Uchi, you're on ground to begin with. When you X-ray, I just said this before you came on, right?
I know, yeah.
X-ray. Okay. I'm gonna hand over to you in a minute. So X-ray, itosa ngegano kihana kya ngugu anwa soludo tolai today. Itosa ya, right? You see a whole lot of unseriousness. You will see a whole lot of loopholes. You will see a whole lot of um incompetency within it, right? One of the challenges you get when, just like you rightly pointed out, is you say, oh, no new here, a new good diota, right? First of all, in the context of Nigeria, Nigeria and Kaima, Ibo pegodo uzo, ebe a ga-esi buba ego to begin with. Because ka ị ga-esi account for ego iji wee kwụ ụgwọ nkwa anụnwa ekwe ka ị ga-esi wee akaụntụ for ndị inye ya ịpụta echi si ndị steeti ị na-achị ndị Anambra eji m 200 billion wee nye ndị whistleblowers, biko ọ dị ka onye rụọ nrọ pụtasị gị na ya kwatu 3-story building na nrọ nna ka ị ga-esi wee argue with the person ị nọ na nrọ gị na ọsọ wee lọ nrọ, right? So our gogota already by default a ga-eji wee bupụ ego if you look at it like this. Then another thing bụ gịnị ihe nwa Chinemelo jụ mmadụ pụtagodi risk ya life ya kwuo ihe anụ ị ga-enyekwu ya ego a nne ji nke ahụ iche. But most importantly, biko you need the ikwu this kind of thing before I arrest your issues. Like the system information adịgo so open that na onwe ihe mee ebe a today onye ọbụla nọ n'ụwa ga-ama. Like you said, like everybody has said, like in almost all the spaces I host to go ebe anụ enwe hotspot. Ịma the hotspot. Onye ọbụla ma the hotspot. Onwe ebe ihe mee today. In fact, onwe ebe moto jam mmadụ just na moto hit mmadụ. Ị ga-afụ ya, ọ ga-agbazu everywhere. So why do you need somebody to say blah blah blah? Like I think Peter Obi's approach was about the best approach because Peter Obi's approach would help everybody be proactive. One forget you've lost that building, you've lost that land. People will naturally because every just as politics is the local crime, they were local. Ndị be ha ma, ụmụ nwanne ha ma, their cousins ma. When you put such measures on ground, they will naturally tell those people to leave town. If you don't leave town, we are going to report you. Get out. You are an eyesore. You are a sore. You are an albatross on our neck. Are you needy, Hoggy? Get out of this place. This thing, people, half of it, 50% will be solved. Then you will use violence. Which government? But the only entity where the right, where legal right to monopolize violence, you will use violence to deliver the rest of it. But a ga-ebu ụzọ wagota ebe a ga-eji wee lie ego, right? Rapụ ihe kwesịrị ime na-eme ihe ọzọ. Onye ọbụla ma anya, anybody that can think freely, objectively, will just see how things fail even before they arrive. But like we will always say, we honestly, with our blood, wish for things to work. We pray that it will work. So can you benefit of doubt? Watching Abello, here I would hand over to you.
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you so much. Iman, like I said, I have a go general. So the conversation is now open, for different angles of opinion in any way, Chalebia, provided you are now circling it back to Anambra Insecurity. Afugomo, the press release by Law Mefo regarding this, I was just reading it again on that moment. I've not finished reading it, but I will just go back open on yours so that I can read can there. So because it's open now, so you can actually come in different angles you want, while we wind down within the next hour or so, to discuss this thing. Serious. The man is a professor, but he seemed backward. I'm sorry if you're a Soludo supporter here. You can be a professor, in the early 2000s, and you've not been updating yourself with what is going on in 2025. In fact, let me give you an example. As an economist, I've only been an economist in the 2000s, in the 2010s, and the 90s, and all of that. Would it make sense to you that a coin was launched today, and that coin has over $5 billion market capital as we talk now, as we speak? It will not make any sense. But even if I'm in the Bible, and once you start answering, have a title, you go school, below a doctorate and all of that, below a professor, you will remain a professor even if you're not updating your knowledge. So most times, your ideology will be backward, will be outdated, will be a cake, ideologies key and real art, and that's what is going on in Anambra. I'm sorry, I'm going to supporter Soludo here. Tell me why in 2025 we are dealing with Siena 2004. That's 21 years ago. And we are also dealing with Takoma. That's if you get you a fight a crime. We're going to those kind of vehicle, onwelo, any form of integrated system to accommodate communication system then a security. It doesn't have it. It doesn't have it. You can't tell me, it's going to be like they're going to put it like amp it na moto back in the days. Eja we na asụ you will amp doya na moto. They are na onye moto na 2000. You know what I'm talking about. Between 2000 and 2010, you will understand the type I'm talking about. Abia, you know what I'm talking about.
akpọ gị n'ọnwa ebe ọkụ na-agba isi na ihe mee na iru ebe ahụ n'oge bụ na fon iji eme GPS na fon iji eme GPS na batrị ya nwụ ọ na ị na-atara ya plọg ya na ihe na-akọnekti the phone to plug just mebie right. Mana onye ọbụla mana moto a na-anya today bụ ịpụta punch ya whether postcode or zip code or area o gosi gị ebe ị na-aga gaba ebe ị na-aga 2004 si ya na-ada eme ya maybe na mamaro biko onye ọbụla 2004 si ya na-eme ya biko ya gwa m.
Well, so infotainment system then abroad I am the money. In fact, I'm very sure now one night worker innocent would have been able to to produce those vehicles and install it. I was even thinking no game. Since it's something that took them time. I think, don't rush anything, take your time. So, and with that expectation that after taking your time, we're expecting to see something they organized, the brand. In fact, the way I get but I see, they're serious. So, oh boy, be like saying they advocate go. But with what I'm seeing, if I got the car, okay, motor and the system operate, then like 3-4 years ago. That's the caliber of thing we are going to see. And that is the Agone Chamber and the Operation Udogache, Anambra State. With open, nothing there shows any integration of technology or anything to fight crime. Anambra State.
Chief Hemed, even a background check. Did they even conduct a background
you are
check
going
on
too far. And you are even too far.
Stephanie, are you talking about SpaceX as in the
please,
because that's where you are going.
Biko,
Are you talking about SpaceX?
background
No,
check,
we are talking. I just before you febe. So what's the value continue?
Yeah, so for me, the whole thing is actually very, very upsetting. Someone might think no anything when I get community go because someone might think no anything Soludo mem. No, Soludo be a professor of economics. So onya bonye water policies. Below central bank governor one time, right? So I believe na ibuzi a governor. No question take the bar so high. Now in fact, in what you see, I can ask na meeting up if a prof melai. But as we speak, in fact, if on a reveal now on a reveal on a drop it in low. The body too low. I'm disappointed. I'm appalled. This is unacceptable at every level. Opening a neighbor, a supporter of Soludo. This is a shame, Tondi Anambra. But when he picks up mic or bag in Anambra State, where kidnap value. But Anambra State cannot give value in security, in fighting insecurity, not the state. It's an insult. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but this is below expectation. I was anyway. Let me not, let me can check out that mom can do something. Let me go back and and read.
Watch it. One thing, right? I would always say, and you say this in crime, in addressing crime. Follow the money, attach numbers to it. Look at the economic impact. All he gave you Mando, the serious. Just look at the numbers around it. Look at the economics around it. So, once the mellow, I want to suggest something. Maybe in another space, or maybe we will talk about it now. I actually appreciated what she Ibido, like you said, maybe from next month. I need the Ibido talks about the budget and application and implementation. Governors and Igbo. That would give us a clearer
we are starting with Enugu
direction
State. We are starting with Enugu
on
State next month. Yeah, so it's not
on Ihaneme. Like Sheikh, I will encourage you to make yourself available anytime I get because all them right. Because when you come in, there was something you said, that was really key. Say, oh, the government they implemented their budget that they implemented over 70% of it, right? Or na ha generate the IGR, no go see in economic activities na ga on na the state. Meanwhile, IGR bo garbage in, garbage out, pay. When you pay people and you get your pay as you earn back, back. There's no addition. There's no physical improvement na the state. So something I turn over, very well. Because in Anya, ifo ebe has imperi, right? And if he lead to this insecurity, because Peter Bukukwania, and he have a natural thing on your bonama. So all maka anya 10 years ago, be here na enweghị ihe ha ga-alụ ha for direction. Ha banye na things ha feel it easy. I know here our society na suffer from. Because we are in general, I will throw this up, then I'll hand the mic over to a couple of people. Ajiku something, right? Since IG webe this incessant broadcasting of Undi Dibia or Undi Mili or whatever her name, you got to go, ka insecurity US skyrocket here. I will buttress my point with Ihe Ikenga or Ikenga that guy in Apafia watching about that guy is near no there was something open space 2 or 3 days ago, right? He was speaking one guy, one I think the man an elderly guy, being a space. Yeah, we're all listening to him in that space. Uche, that space. The man see okay, he that people were this no nyawaka haji we di ebube is nonsense. You understand? In a man or this because na is it doesn't yield anything. Then Obido break way down. Otu, these things were effective. I will tie this to what I just said, right? We are going somewhere with this. Or say, n'ịmakwa ụdị ọgwụ ụmụaka a na-agwọ na ụmụaka a na-eje ụlọ ọgwụ kidnap nwa amụọfụ suo ya n'ikwe lie ya na ụmụaka nwee ndị dibịa ga-abụ ha bịa asị oke na-enwego sabo n'ime unu na onye anụnwa bụ sabo ejide onye ahụ gbuo ya rụọ ya n'ọkụ otu ya esi arụ barbecue a na-ebele anụ ya na-ata na ihe a niile na-enye ha power. Nwanne bete anụ ịghọtago bụ na arụ nama, right? Betesu ya bụ na arụ nama. So ụmụaka ha na-aje ekulu anụ niile aha a na-ata ka e wee fortify yourself bụ part of mmadụ ifu. And those things are tied to the foundation Bundi so-called Obalatule na-enye power because all hanwa but the factory.
Wait, did I just hear you say that Anizu Umaka one day?
Ikenga said it. Uche, in on that space. I saw you. You could walk
I
on that
was there.
space. Then later you dropped.
I didn't want to.
Right?
I tried on me quick
Aji,
because
Aji in on that
all
space
the two barbaric. That was why I
that
told
day.
Chief.
Right? So
When you have time, listen
yeah,
to it. Intigigeju.
yeah. So all Mazi, I abandoned 10, 15 years ago. But as he was in Hamahageme, right? Ha banyere ha feeli dị. But those things enweghị any effect, onweghị any impact. In fact, I was requesting Mike that day ka nsị asị ya biko ya gwa ndị ahụ na-fortify ya onwe ha with all those elements. Na ha nwee nọ n'ọfịa na-ekidnap ndị mmadụ abụrụ ebe ego dị. Na ego dị na Central Bank. Na ha ego dị na Federal Reserve. Biko ha gwuo mmiri ebe ọ bụ na ha nwere that power na that nji power. Ha jebe ebe ego dị. Na kidnap poor people na-eme obodo na-turn everywhere upside down. Abụrụ ebe ego dị. Onye ọbụla ma ebe ego dị. Ha jebe ebe ego dị. Don't stop on the street causing nonsense. Claim only iji power. Ọ bụ na enwere power true. Nwanne, ịma ndị bụ big men, ịma ndị ji ego n'ụwa. Top 10 ha nọ na Forbes. Mepee Forbes, jebebe ha, use all your power. You get more money than being nonsensical because those things enwere uru ọ na-aba. It doesn't help. Those things bụ na a na-eri unu-eri in a very simple term. Na ka nsụọ ya n'Igbo, a na-eri unu-eri is a simple 419. Onwere ihe ọ na-enye, onwere ihe ọ na-eme gị. It doesn't add to your bottom or top line. If you know, you know. So we will have to look at all these things. Look at the economics of all these things. Every problem is here. So when you look at developed countries, right? That these people need free education. These people need pay attention to education. Nobody need more of scholarship. Government are doing all those things because na hama na all them because those people will turn around tomorrow, become a menace to the society. So I need to hold our leaders accountable. When we look at their budgetary implementation, we can easily say, nah, you're not doing something for the future of this country or this state or this region. It is extremely important that we pay attention to that. So Sheikh, I will thank you for throwing up that. I don't know if any other person want to go, but Wag,
Well,
Aka
before
Gidinelu,
Wad goes, before
I think
Wad,
you've not said something.
yeah, before Wad goes, I crave your indulgence, ladies and gentlemen. Let me read you the press release from Anambra State. Because Anama like it's just gonna be less than 2 minutes read. It's not that much. In a major bid to tackle security challenges facing Anambra State, Governor Chukwuma Soludo has unveiled Anambra Homeland Security Law 2025 and launched a special security operation codenamed Operation Udogachi. The governor, who signed the Homeland Security Law 2025 earlier today, stated that the law provides a framework for community citizens' ownership and participation in sustainable security and social reengineering. According to Soludo, Operation Udogachi is a special intervention force that complements regular policing and is designed to upscale intelligence gathering, reward whistleblowers, enhance rapid response, and urgently root out criminals from every camp in the state. The governor noted that the security challenges facing the state are complex and hydra-headed, requiring a comprehensive and sustainable response. He emphasized that the Anambra state government is determined to fight criminality and ensure that Anambra becomes the safest state in Nigeria. The key components of the Anambra Homeland Security Law, Ebaka Dementende, they include establishment of new vigilante architecture, Agone Chamber, to assist and complement federal security forces. So, establishment of new security architecture, which is actually different from the AVG we have, Anambra State Vigilante Group. We'll come to that. Establishment of a state call center with toll-free lines. Deployment of technology, including tracking systems, command and control systems, and AI-powered surveillance cameras. Again, the next one is payment of monthly security support grants to communities. Next point, payment of a monthly bonus of 10 million naira to divisional police officers that record zero violent crimes. The governor also announced that the state government will review assistance to existing correctional centers and embark on building new ones. So they're going to review the prisons, and embark on building another one. He further stated that the government will work with the Commissioner of Police and DSS to identify top local government areas with violent crime histories. The governor also called on communities to set up security governance structure urgently to encourage each community to design and execute its own cleansing and restoration program. He also reiterated that the state government extension of the hand of friendship. Okay, let me take that again. He also reiterated that the state government's extension of hand of friendship and amnesty to kidnappers, cultists, drug dealers, and other categories of criminals, urging them to surrender their arms and embrace rehabilitation. So this is the key component of this Homeland Security law: establishment of vigilante call center, deployment of technology and AI-powered surveillance cameras, payment of monthly security support grants, payment of monthly bonus of 10 million naira to divisional police offices that record zero violent crimes, and reviewing of prisons and building new ones, and of course also charging communities to develop structure, governance structure, so, and extending hand of friendship to kidnappers, cultists, drug dealers, and other categories of criminals to give them amnesty, urging them to surrender their arms and embrace rehabilitation. So this is what government, this is their robust security measures. So this is what we actually discuss in the next 1 hour before we wind down. So it's open, like I said, I'm a general, so you can come in from any angle, what you think, and whatever that you want to say or contribute to this conversation.
You said you had a
I
problem with
think
the $10 million,
the only one.
10 million naira bonus
Oh yeah,
to
oh
the
yeah.
place.
I
Okay.
have a very big problem with that, because like I rightly predicted, or I would say I prophesied, because it's going to happen. You're going to see there's going to be a significant drop on recorded crimes. Not like they arrested or anybody, but it will not happen. Don't ask me how or why, but you're going to see that, because now,
Chief. No, they'll be collaborating with these guys and sharing
well,
money
well,
now. It
well,
is
I
normal
didn't say
now.
that.
I have said it
I
now.
I didn't.
Ebe a ga-eji wee buba
Yeah, I
ego
didn't
na onye
say that.
ọbụla
I
ma
didn't say
Nigeria
that
ma.
our law enforcement are going to collaborate with criminals. I did not say that. But my prophecy is that we are going to see a sharp decrease. We're going to see a bear run. Let me put it like that for the traders. A bear run na security reportage na Anambra State, because nobody will want to miss that money. I can tell you. Nobody will want to miss that 10 million that will be coming from government every month. Government got
So actually, this is the way I look at it, though,
government got
because it's not.
but let me tell you why.
No, that means I want to ebe anụ nwa tie mkpu na social media that nna ihe amekwa ha atọ n'ọsị
I
na
no
asị
mirror,
na ihe dị otu ahụ
because
emehọ.
I got with the money. Government got book at 10 million boss. So it's not well.
Chief,
And
even
the
Soludo is not
Kendi
trustworthy.
government na what you know what ka capture go aka dị n'elu.
Even Soludo
I
is
mean,
not
the way I look
trustworthy.
at it is that maybe the reporting source, just 10 seconds, Charlie P. The reporting source doesn't necessarily have to be the police station. It would be people in the community. But anyway, let's leave that.
Nobody's going to pay that. You and I know Soludo. He's not a trustworthy person. So let's.
This
Okay,
one
fair
they
enough. Yeah.
calculate. Yeah, but
Now,
when I just keep on they
whenever you see things like this, it has simple avenue about get this iPhone ego, whether you like it or not. I got in few months time confirm or no hobo. In Nigeria now, we've been in this game for years. When na Maria, when yes, obuna Maria, Malia today. Because because keki we vet ya, how will you audit it? Ka onye nye Diego. So ọ bụ na ịbụ manụ Soludo ọ dị ịbụ manụ somebody nọ na gọọmenti akpọ gị nye gị ego anụnwa asị oke na-enye gị ya ndị achịna because na onwe ihe ọ bụla anụ from achịna nnụ na-atọ na ọ na-azụ ihe ka ego anụnwa nwanne miwa ndị nọ na achịna a na-egbu ha onye pụta na soshal midia asị o nna anyị abụkwa onye achịna ọ na nwanne ya nọ na achịna ọ na nwanne ọ na one of his friends bụ onye achịna na-eme biznes na-ekwe ihe eme ya ndị a ga-asị na-asị ka ị na-asị that you just want to hit up the polity. Now we've seen these things in the past.
Kita ke ya gaslighting.
I'm telling you, now we've seen this. Now, we are just circling.
Nah,
We are just circling. But can I move on, Mike? Nyande mother chance.
yeah. So let's do it this way because you know on a mic, Ndubisi mute you go. Ndubisi mute because you know on a mic, you want to talk and contribute to this segment I know now because we are extraying this funny element they just brought out. This funny, I don't know what to call it because that is not even a serious security measures. So if you want to contribute to it, then if you want to talk, you can request mic, then we can bring you up because so that call lady to rowdy can wake we're organizers. So we have about 2 more hours to a long conversation today. So while we are winding down and in general and we're discussing their measures, you are free to request for mic. Okay, so let's move because assign how it will go.
So I got to WAG. From WAG, I got to afford them Ndubisi. Ndubisi when you again open Egypt, you know when you again on that fair because oh my man. I got to WAG. From WAG, I got to Ndubisi, then got to Charlie P. Then we circle back, then to Mufasa. Then we circle back to the kind of name Kubugo. Then we circle back to the Noble before. So WAG, because I know him when you.
Oh, okay. Good evening from my part of the world. Ekene Moon. Ogunda no hear me, or should I put the
And
mic
one the
on?
Gani right now, Gani man,
Okay.
raise your voice.
Ekene. Okay. Ekene Simuni Ike. Oh, ni hini na ekwu. And how you guys coordinate
anyị
things.
adị anụcha ihe na-ekwu ụfọdụ n'ime anyị akabala nka small.
Okay. Asị m na ekene Simuni Ike onye ọbụla ebe ọbụla unu nọ. Just so that I don't waste our time, so that we can pass the mic to other people. Chief, first thing first, just to confirm with you for trader, this is off topic. You know, the coin you're talking about, Trump coin that came out yesterday, is now 32 billion market cap for anybody that wants to be aware. Trump launched his own coin, which is going ballistic. Aside that, Chief, the last time he hosted this space, at some point you started going into some areas, and I when you started mentioning things, because I could see and feel the pain in your voice when you were mentioning about Katobazia, what's his name, Soludo Pure Water, and things like that. You were literally frustrated, which every one of us could feel, and we are. What we don't do is match violence with, those kind of rhetorics. Ihe anyị ga-eme ọbụlụ idu ya ịmago igwuli ya egwu, or just to shame him or government officials in other way, we can do that. But ka anyị advocate for anything, ọ ga-abụ ọpụta point ya back to the progress and the good nature of what you've got going on here. So moving on from that, late in even, but going on from the last conversation I am where you taxed me somehow, so I put down some pointers I wanted to give out. Can go for all of us not here? So I'll go point by point. The first thing is about the whole Soludo setup of the security architecture or whatnot. The truth is this. These guys just want to, or are really, politicizing all these things. It's just a money-making avenue for all of them. I'll give you an example. Zelensky, since Russia invaded Zelensky, I don't think we've ever seen Zelensky in suits till today. Everybody for Zelensky on a war zone. Or they're good in a UN now in talk. On our kwado, on our kwado ka onye obodo a na-agba ọkụ. So the body language of the government that is meant to be protecting us tells us that they really don't give a hoot about us, because ọbụna, Soludo, water ihe na-eme na Anambra State. Ya abụrụ time eji ekpu okpu mmemme.
Ne
You know,
afa akwete.
no, ihe abụrụ
Akwete,
time.
akwete,
Ihe
nke a
abụrụ
nwachina onye like nke ahụ, akwete.
ihe abụrụ time. Ihe abụrụ time ọ ga-abụ ụmụada na-akụrụ gị egwu na-agba egwu. You know, you shouldn't be seen. You shouldn't be caught slacking.
Na
You shouldn't be
wag
seen
way of my
celebrating.
akụsiala ego ọgbasi ebunie jollof rice. Ọ na like jollof rice
With
Okay.
with
with fried
plantain or
plantain.
Right.
plantain.
Let's
Fried
be
plantain.
serious.
What type of protein
So
can I like?
and these things are and you know real. It's not as in as much as there's a level, element of joke, but you know real. So the government that is meant to be protecting us, so or whatever, when the house is burning. Meanwhile, look at Zelensky. Look at America. I think it's California the other day. You see the governor, you see people stepping out. Everybody masking, but at least the body language, what the clothing, our leaders wear to come and address us or to come and see something tells us, clearly, Nanda mean business. Mba flood na north. If in the north they really konkosa no na kenu na muamu. These things you're making mockery of us. It's quite simple. None of them even in boots. They call wado. So that is that. That tells us that ha chọrọ anyị ndụ. Left for them. Onye ọbụla gbafusie ka ha nwere Anambra na-eme ya na-eme. So that takes the issue of body language. This location I na-ekwu maka ya mana anyị ekwugo maka ya the last time, and I told you guys ihe mụ na-eme on my own little part, and I keep doing it, and funny enough something came up, and Chief, just so you know, and ndị na-abịa ebe a more often, I just started jumping on this space just so you know something has happened in the past couple of days. These guys that are meant to be listening to us, they are actually really, really here for sure. Hano anonymous guy, because I got a contact from someone in the government that refused to tell me who he is. The person where someone he had I'm populating a map about incidences in Anambra, etc. Na imago, we hinga agwonwa. So I had to tell the person that for me to divulge, what my map says, I'm not asking for money. First of all, me and you will have to schedule a Zoom conversation, and I would like to see your ID, if you don't mind. Just for the sake of, each one of us nearby and one protect you and why as we are here. So we managed to schedule a Zoom call, and that happened. They showed me the ID. I semi-vetted them. So what I told them was, I just gave them a lock start, a location where I think, these guys are a muster point per se. It might not necessarily be Ebehaji hostages, Mana amam na hana muster eba, amam na hana, is somewhere they bed down. And I think it was yesterday or so, I got a picture, with a location, that Obunka picture, that picture that is circulating about someone that was killed. I got it sent to me. And it was just one person that they got there. And maybe it was just for them to give me a thumbs up to tell me that, okay, the information was correct or whatever. I don't know. But I had to tell you guys this, Chief, and the rest of you guys that, keep this place running. Nanda and again, so what I will urge you, Biko, ike agwụnagi, ike agwụnunu n'ihu neme, atụpịagide okwu a ga-atụpụta ya ihe. Anambra and Igbo land is all for us. In fact, Nigeria in general, is all for us. We want our kids to experience what we experienced growing up. We want to, make Igbo land great again. And the first thing our first step is to stop insecurity so that we can, so that takes the point about location tag. He mentioned about bounty and implications. When you mentioned about the whole share of bounty, as in when people talk or whistleblowers and how they get money and all that. What we can do here as individuals is this, so that we can put these guys in check subconsciously. Anywhere incident, man, you guys keep pushing it out to me. All I can do on my own little part, I'm gonna populate this map as much as possible. But have fail or anybody that wants to see what's going on or like Iriago, like me kidnap her gun or or whatever. The records are here. The records clearly. Nobody had enthusiasm. Thank God for social media. You guys keep capturing this moment, if you can, without putting your lives in danger. Always try to stay away from where incident has happened, but capture the incident or afterwards. Keep capturing this, keep spreading it, if possible. Taunt my DM with pictures and videos. Give me the location where it's happened, what you think has happened, as much as you can. I will keep populating this map. As long as you guys don't relent, I won't relent. We'll keep pushing this until our voice is heard, until we start talking about other things that are equally as important, like you mentioned, gentrification of places that we hold dear to heart, making our homeland beautiful again. Last but not the least, or a way you guys think I should do better, because all I'm doing really, is populating a map of incidences, and in populating this map is already telling a story of what's going on. The area, the catchment areas where these guys are operating. All I keep asking, just keep sending me this information. If you're not able to send it to me, put it out there. I will always scroll through and find it and populate this map. Man, ike agwụ n'unu. Biko no ben na anyị ka agba ọkụ. Ike agwụ n'unu. I thank you guys so much.
All right, Wag, I have a question for the benefit of people that are listening to us. And because I know people will also want to, maybe they want to know, but maybe they don't want to ask you directly. Who are you really? And what is your position? And why should people send you information for you to populate a map on what is going on in Anigbo?
I think I kind of answered that question the last time I banked. I think previously.
He asked you, everybody not here for benefit of, so go ahead.
Oh, yes. I work in security. I live abroad, so that I don't go into details, and so I can keep doing what I do. I wouldn't mention the particular country, but I live in Europe, and I work in security. I've been working in defense for 18 and a half years. As I'm still an active on active duty. Hence the reason, like I told you before, that I wasn't able to put boots on ground when, I explained what happened the last time, But yeah, I'm still on active duty as a military personnel in a country in Europe, and the Abumoya Anambra State. I grew up in Enugu, but Abumoya Anambra. So that's my background, and that's who I am. And what I'm doing is what I can easily go on the World Wide Web and get. I'm not asking you to tell me the name of your mom and where she's laying down at night. It's just simple information. On where be here, send me the detail. What those things you think you can post on social media, instead of me going through the pains of finding it and sometimes missing it and not being able to cobweb those information. Just send it to me. What I'm doing is just populating a map of Anambra State to show the heat signature of where the crimes are being populated or perpetuated rather, and where these guys move from. Right? So far, the things I've managed to achieve in doing this, is I've managed to figure out that these guys that do this, they borrow each other arms and ammunition. How many groups, elements of groups. Most times they I think the least group I've seen that operate was 3, and the most group I've seen that operate, maybe I'm wrong, but for me, is 15. So in the ranges of 3 and 15, that's how they operate. And it's a mixture of people from all walks of life. I've been able to identify a group where Igbo people are in a group of kidnappers, and someone from, I think, if I'm right, someone from Bauchi State was with them. So that brushes out the fact of none the outsiders. That's not true. The buy is and these guys are opportunistic in nature. Sometimes they don't even plan it. Sometimes they go out maybe to have a drink or whatever it is. While they're hanging out, they see someone that is vulnerable. They can do something to. They make a call. Onyana the borrow had the arms and ammunition. They borrow here. They go do what they have to do. They come back, they return it, and they make payments. However it seems. So these are the things I've managed to figure out so far. If there's any more questions, I'm open to answer as well.
All right. No, I don't have any other question. I just wanted to, so that people will be clear. The people we discuss with. For the purpose of just not join right now. Just 1 minute, because for the purpose of not join right, we talked about now this year we're going to be discussing a lot of things. But only for this is just off point. But it's going to be something I get discussed. Maybe when we're going to talk about gentrification that I mentioned that we need to discuss. Urban in urban, into architectural designs, 3D, and all of that. I think it's going to be more like voluntary stuff. And maybe over the month I will be talking about it, be tweeting about it, and I encourage every other person to talk about it. I believe in anywhere different points now the whole of Southeast, every state that can be or represent that downtown or high street or whatever. Let me give you an example. Typical example, by even on the Oka Road is supposed to be really the high street, of Onitsha. Ibiana Enugu is supposed to be Ogui Road. Ibiana Abia State, Enwala Umuahia, then Enwala Aba. I think Ebe Umuahia towards that Ebe where the mall, no Umuahia. I'm not really very well with that back league, so I can't really give you enough of information. Then Ibiano area like the Wedral or even Kereba
Ebu Road.
Ebu Road, yes, or even World Bank. Is a chikwala Ebenda. It's your Waranaka. Anyway, so I'm anyway, so I think so please, this is me asking because it's going to be things we'll discuss in the coming months. Then Bible, or if it the good at. Maybe you have a way of really going there, maybe get a video on your phone and then give us visualization. I think that's the word, of how that place can be transformed with the structures already in place, things that can be, that can be done easily, and how these things can be done, to really give us. We need to start talking about really improving our cities, and so that it wouldn't just be discussing other things that are really not going to impact us well. I think it was Anambra Person that talked about the area view. The area view of our land, of our Libo, is not really encouraging, to be very honest. And if you fly, in low altitude, and you see even the major cities, forget about all the things we hype. It's not something that should cost us money, because this generation, if we don't do anything, the coming generation it's looking scary with what we are saying. The younger ones is looking scary, I can tell you. And they're not less than 30, 25 down. It's looking scary because what we are seeing, I can tell you, I don't know whether they are thinking what we are thinking. I can guarantee you they might not. So if I not about so they're not thinking of putting something in place or structures. So this is me putting it out now because it came to my head. So maybe so that in by gay discourse somebody can remind me of an Chifwe. So we need that visualization of all these areas that should be, so that when we are calling on government, because I know they are here, they are listening. So these things in our needs, we need gentrification of our cities. We need it. But I know.
You know,
I know
like I said,
on
few days ago was a testament to it. You
yeah.
know,
So
for
on
me to have been contacted.
you will see.
Yes, the Hanegegenti, don't relent, keep going.
Thank you. When Canada, but now that's when you will see now they will declare me wanted. So I know they are listening. So, but I better to put anybody in trouble or anything. We are discussing how Anibo gets them. That is my interest. So I just want to put it out there. On record so that in case I forget, the day gonna discuss if and there. Can we here? So over to you, Ezechiel. Aji, I think you wanted to say something. Aji.
I think Obunaji Odigaja no so to here. I got to the next person. I
No
think it
be
was
Mufasa
I think it was Charlie
or
P.
Charlie
When I force
P.
Charlie P. But Charlie P.
But
Or
Charlie
cannot
P is
square.
not here.
Ndubisi. I got to Ndubisi. Then I got to
Ndubisi.
Mufasa. Then I got that to Bellamy. Bellamy one. Ndubisi big. Ị ga-abịanwu nso to phone gị or igwe iji ekwu okwu because you're sounding a bit far so that ka ndị mmadụ na-anụ gị. Ndubisi ka na ebe a? Okay, ka anyị na-eche Ndubisi Mufasa ngwa.
I'm audible now.
Yes. Ngwa nwanne gaa n'iru.
All right. So ajụjụ nche eju bụ go last time. In fact, the first time I joined this space. Afọ a na-akpa elu ka a ga-esi wee mee ihe gbasara insecurity Anambra steeti ka e nwee security Anambra steeti ka Anambra steeti dị mgbe kwukwa m okwu dade so na-elekali my emphasis na grassroots communities so lukwa last time ekwukwa na ya akpakwa ihe gbasara ya today do echekigo m online mgbe m ji wee chọpụta na the space adịgo on wee bata so amarọ m ebe akpalugo so fa gbana from ihe dị nke nge na atụmatụ Soludo wetegasị oge iji wee fight ya bụ insecurity and all that abịakwa na emphasize kwa na ya wasị ka njụa kedu ike esi na-akọrọ anyị dị ise n'akụkọ politicians na-agba akọsị anya ekwete anyị aka bụ ụmụazị nke ahụ abụrụ of question. The second question na mma ajụkwa bụrụ these community PGs na-abụ na-ekwu mgbe ọbụla na-akpọ afa biko onwe ebe dị wrong ma ọ bụ na anyị push ube baba mba na anyị chọ ka eme fancha niile arrest akpọ ọba meeting na akpụrụ fancha niile kpochie amaala m ndị Igbo asị ndị nwe action as in action na-ekwu na-eme eme bụ na actually end insecurity na Anambra steeti Soludo na-akọgodi ma na no outsiders na cause the problem na ọ bụgo outsiders o nwere ka outsiders esi wee abata act ya anything without an inside that ndị be anyị na-atụ inu asị na oke nọ n'ụlọ gwara nke nọ n'ụzọ ya bịa na azụ dị na ngịga so ịgbada na villages na those remote area those people bicha there ma ndị na-alụ alụlụ ma na-alụ na Anambra steeti so ka ebe anyị ejide tibe na mkpụsị kpụkọlụ the whole of this PG tugodi nga ọbụgodi nga 1 month ka this insecurity end ye ọbụgodile 1 month akpụkọlụ these people tii n'ime nga eche mgbe ele anyị na-akpa ma ife anyị nwa nwere ike imenwu ka anyị wee afụ na enyere aka ma ọ na enyere gọọmenti aka o inyere ọnwa anyị aka end this insecurity onye bata Naijiria ka o nwee rest of mind onye na-aba ka o mechie anya ya na-abụlalụ ụla ndị otu m na-ala ka ịga ije abalị ka nne ekweghalị ka o si wee dị m mma onwe ife ya dị wrong na anyị nwa push vetive mkpu bebe akwa sị kpụkọlụ all those PG onwekwa PG mụ na ya na-adara m eme politiks onwekwa PG mụ na ya na-ese okwu mana asị nweta nke ọkụzụba anyị nchọba avia tụ ma eweta his name weta ka faraghachi dị ọchịchị sị kpụkọlụba ncha niile kpochienu ka this whole thing end ya bounty NSS ekwugo okwu ebe a mana that bounty will not help this insecurity issue joint task force ọ na-ekwu okwu has been there onye ọbụla nọ na Anambra steeti mana enwere joint task force since na Anambra steeti ịgba ụzọ Kefana kwa kesa di bepi to obi wa alue nanka to Ekulobia, all those areas. Joint task force do there. Put a fakafakus in the main road with India Army police, ma vigilante. Or the same joint task force no kwa side Ekulobia. Alunina na emenune meka na agwa no from where you end the insecurity now. So now you na do biko open eme something like that or the wrong. Aya kwe no tyranny or guinea. Na iti even good as a see aka pagodilin dini na bu PGs na all these communities. Fanchani in ma ebe nwere the insecurity ebe the insecurity the high ma ebe ọ dị low fanchani nwe na onye ahapụ n'ime fanchani ine kpugodili ekpochie kpugodili fanchani ine tugodi fanga kpugodili 1 month awa akpa ife ya eme these insecurities. So this ajụjụ can say ka njụ amarọ m ka sound so stupid or somehow stupid mana say ka njụ onwe onye nwe ife ọya akọwatụrụ m about it ka ọ kọwalụ m you know.
Ka
All right. Sorry, why?
ọbụna anyị
Why?
ga-agagbu
Sorry.
gị ajụjụ a. Okay.
Why? Sorry. Ndubisi, maybe because Nebata too late. I guess that's the reason. Because I had no go here. We started since I think 10 o'clock, and this is 5, I believe. 5:30 Nigerian time, because this is maybe on 3 a.m. my own time. This is like past 10, almost 10:30 in the morning, my time. So I think it should be like 5:30 Nigerian time, I believe. So we've been here for quite a bit. And we've talked about so many things, ranging from people becoming employed, ranging from education, because this gap. I'm just I'm going to give you a review so you can, when we finish, I'm go back to a lesson. So maybe Nolo, you can just put it and it plays all through the time in Nolo. Then you can listen to everything we talked about. Ranging from employment, government provided an avenue for people to be employed and all of that. That is here government again and what we can do. Education, really and a gap. A watch here and this movement of returning to the roots going on nabai, and that returning to the root is actually what is causing more harm than good, because all returning to the root to our age na chosen what a clean what if on alo chole GLE chole RX chole occasion kona ye gonna money na water. So they want wealth without enterprise, without skill, without education. They are just unemployable. So I contribute immensely. So you can't really discuss issue of tackling security in just it's actually multifaceted issue that you have to touch a lot of things to actually handle it. Then someone recommended issues of having a social services in place that will help a lot of people. What do you do to them? Sometimes it pushes them into crime, right? So we mentioned that. So while we are about discussing now issue of Nkai discussed on a space yesterday, and we said we are going to elaborate on them, which is incentivizing the law enforcement, by having something like community security fund, whereby in diaspora or outside wherever elite or eminent sons and where security fund where they will be putting money. So we are about discussing that. Then we saw that which is still open, because you can still take this information and still implement it. We talked about it in the last space. We wanted to elaborate more. Now this one, what we meant was Obununuga Security Fund. That fund, in fact, let me use this opportunity to actually talk about it in detail. What that fund will do is a lot of communities, and these days then we go technology whereby you can actually install something like CCTVs in every corner of your town. Some town we may get an Anambra State already. I think some town they can nail with some part of nail, such facility there, that such infrastructure. Now and where cameras, different angles, you won't even know that they are there. They will see you when you are coming, so everybody where you are going from, all the flash points. And when I say camera said this stuff. So communities can do that, right? Part of what that is in part of that install, lighten up your community. So that abane now and with solar panel, solar systems that you can install, from that money. Then someone suggested in the last space that you can use that money maybe in a way to kind of encourage police officers, but not necessarily giving them money, because that money is going to compromise everything. We didn't even know that government is government is promising them 10 million. So we are here last space, talking about giving them money might compromise the oppression. But government is already, has already earmarked 10 million. You'll be giving each station if they don't record any crime in a month, of which we have a problem. Also, if I need discusses now. So, but I'm just, rolling out distance, Gemali firm, if in a pipeline, which is actually something practicable. So for community, what they could do and what we are looking at, but that money, how can you people help or encourage officers around? Someone talked about in the last space. Na go school. One of the problem, but when an officer another go from a school, the community can say, okay, we can pay maybe one term or half their school fees, whatever. We can't tell you what to do, but so when that fund, the most important thing is to have that fund. Then you decide from your community what you should be doing for officers to encourage them, but not giving them money. Because what it means is that if you give them money, if you don't give them money, that means they won't do anything. They will tell you, now they bring money, now they bring again now. We don't get strength to go out. They pay us now for 3 months now, and no one come show love. They show love. You gotta go. Because same man, people with that kind of thing, you create expectation. Then from expectation, obviously entitlement. They will now become entitled. Oh, you people have not been bringing it, so nothing. Don't call us. People don't love us now. So it's more like why we want to suggest that is that since government is not really doing anything, are we going to now sit back and watch our communities, be decimated and be destroyed completely? And just now bamba social media, we need to do something. So, but since government is now coming in, so it appears that government, of course, they have more power, more money, to really do something. So now we're actually focusing on that and they're projecting. And then that's what we're talking about now, to challenge it, the loopholes, how they are weak. I tweeted about the fact that most of the vehicles, not there, of which none of one a video they uploaded, and then we are commenting. Commissioner for Information, Jenna, that is Jenna my tweet where I made say no, the Soludo the backward and they Jenna that comment, you see the commissioner there. But I'm going to join this space now. Let us talk. He doesn't say, oh, they go to message now. He just wrote me a message. I'll read it. Kamali He just wrote me a DM. But I said, join us. Can I discuss at this thing? Because when I send information,
I want a network, you join ya. Man, I want a network, you reply
that man.
message, you sharp.
Rap one now, rap go to that prof. Ojedi is still any information now draw correct. But the videos are there to see na Sienna not there, but Sienna 2004 model. How can that Sienna have a modern infotainment system? It can't have modern infotainment system to communicate, to track anything. I said, guess I don't know.
That's why you
No.
why
Nothing.
the government no, if you find one game, the
Nah,
government
I am telling you what. Are you not listening to what I'm saying? So the thing is this, yeah. You can also override what government is going to do. Remember, you cannot override government. So you are going to do what you are going to do at that community level. Then government is going to do what they're going to do at the top level. Meanwhile, part of what government from this thing now, the press release is part of the things there because communities actually developing a strategy is there. So part of what we even want to discuss here is part of what Adakan USA, I'm not on whether they were listening to us before to integrate it into their own or not just coincidence, because we talked about it in our spaces. So I'm not on whether they listened to us and then attached it to the whole thing or not just coincidence that we already have it in mind and we've been talking about it and they had it in mind and they've been, putting it, in the document. So but some of part of the points are already there. So our own now is now to look at it and critique what they've projected out. And that is what we're doing now. And nothing is wrong in critiquing anything government is putting out. It's not hatred, it's not anything. We are all concerned. It's actually for the love of the state. That's why we are critiquing whatever you are bringing and looking at where it is weak, the loopholes, where people can even take advantage of that when they put out. And some of the things we have talked about here, Buna, even some stations now, Gebidos now not to report any crime. So like I analyze 10 million. Because for me, if 30 days gaffe, or when anything man, I report a general 10 million. So it's a weak strategy. It's a poor strategy. And that's what we're talking about. So I'm not me no give or maybe you may have to go back and listen again. You got to go because you didn't really join when we were discussing this, so I had to do this summary. Chukwu, sorry, I said Chukwu. Ndubisi.
Ask him Kanzaya quickly, Bikon, sorry to cut short. He came up with the idea, why can't the government go and arrest all the PGs which you have for 1 month? The situation with Nigerian system of government does not allow that, or actually that might not be effective because all these PGs are actually working for Soludo, although they are, they are all put in strategic positions for him to continue his government, you see. So it's like who polices the police, Obuno, a country where the morals the straight, or for example, Obuno, one of you guys nearby, for example, like the governor, maybe that could happen. Mana, so far, the structure of that state is the way it is. Those guys are actually put there for them to implement whatever government ideology, and to uphold it. So you're asking them to do what they would never do. I hope that just answers that particular question.
To add, I mean, the PGs have no role constitutionally and even statewide to have any role in security. So, I mean, the PGs is just a recent thing. I don't know what president generals of association, they're the town unions that elect them. So I don't know. I don't think they have any role. So arresting them is I don't know. That's what they call overreach. You can't arrest them. If a bad PG is a bad PG, okay. Maybe the town should elect a better PG. Anyway, let me not waste time. Who's Charlie P? Are you
Yeah,
back or
I'm
you're
back.
down
I'm
again?
back. I'm back. Okay.
Okay. Sorry, Mufasa. Charlie P was hired. Let Charlie P so you can go then.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Watching them, Kenake, everybody is a chikwelo. I agree to now. Actually, atakwa n'okwu Anambra State. No, anytime I na-ekwu okwu ọnụ mmiri na-anọ m because the truth of the matter is watching them is these guys are not serious. And when I was reading the Mefor thing, I just, do you know where he cooked this thing from? Watching them, this is an AI generated conversation, not in Yoruba. And that's just the truth. And I cannot see why somebody is trying to communicate to the people on launches after 3-4 years on a Mechapu first tenor, and he's coming up with this kind of idea. And like you said, coming up with old vehicles. The problem I have with these people is even the barest minimum that people ask them to help give them. Nigerians practically beg leaders to just do the barest minimum. And it's such a shame. Nanda and Nechande Madunanya Hasi. And like I keep saying, they don't regard us as human. These people regard people as objects. If someone like this now launch a security outfit, I expect some level of implementation timelines. I'm watching them in a quick camera CCTV. Okay, fine, you bang all those cameras CCTV they don't close command center. I had a quarrel. So funding us in on because one man was funding the whole activity. And nobody, in short, the day he died, after a few weeks, Habido do some of the things. So they had to, close some of those places that he was paying people to manage. I cannot see how security is a big. Guys, we are just making this look very elaborate. These guys are miscreants sitting in small spaces around our state that can be flushed out with very, very, very detailed information and less collateral damage. This is not war. These guys are not sophisticated. Why this bull line anyway? It's because Onyasika Chianye do not have what it takes. And I don't want to start contesting his professorship and everything. But like my mom, Neku, and I keep saying it in Nana's spaces, passing six, no be passing sense. The fact that the academically sound, has not shown over time that people like this, govern well or think right. As a professor of economics, what is it doing to revitalize the situation of the industrial, capacity, prowess of Anambra State? And you guys can agree with me that number one is to keep the land secure. And I keep asking, there is no new idea under the sun. How did P2B do it? Is it an ego thing? Is it a pride thing? The former commissioner of police that worked with P2B is alive. Narcotics and you add a little bit of finesse and IT on it, or in it, to actually expand and do the right thing. What is difficult about this thing? And I keep asking, what is difficult? It's just that we don't have serious people. How can you incentivize reducing crime with 10 million, knowing the kind of situation and the country in? I'm Anambra Vigilante Group, AVG, and now you're raising another this thing. Or are you disbanding those ones and you're that's what I'm saying. It is not a clear cut out communication on if what you're with security in Anambra State. And I keep saying it is as simple as ABCD. I'm not a security expert, so but the truth of the matter is these things, any serious person, it won't take the person 1, 2, 3 months to get these guys. The hotspots are known. The hotspots are known. Why GML Biaraba say people know these places. We've been saying it. So what has he done to keep people checkmating those places to even start with? These guys come around regular people, go to filling stations, buy food, have a supply chain of how they run things. What is difficult? Maybe we're making it look as if actually the GMAT. It is just as simple as having an unserious person as a governor. And it's so disappointing. It's so disappointing. I'm only feeling about security apparatus in a prison. Now, because I don't know how prison enter the talk. Seriously. I don't know how prison enter the talk. And I don't like reading these things from people who expect to look at people and, help them solve whatever crisis they are going through. Another big question I keep asking is, what can government do to trust people? People are ready to give information. But hang on between the devil and deep blue sea. The crime people are closer to them, telling them if they talk, they will wipe them out. And if they know they've report to security, they will still wipe them out. Who will they pledge alliance to? It is common sense. Nigerian government, Nigerian security apparatus has never shown trust. They whistleblower and whistleblower. This thing. Man, the federal government promising them mad or blow whistle. They even arrest the person and make the person public. They're not serious. Some of these conversations are not even supposed to be in the public spaces. People wake up one morning and understand that they are free to do their normal, everyday businesses. All the people need is just to communicate to them about, we have been able to do this, we have been able to do that. All these things in that is Pagladas. We will come back. I thought he said it was the end of the month he was supposed to do it. Give a miracle video on the 18th of January, or 18th of January, ending of the month, Anambra State. It is because people are now beginning to speak up. I think our conversation around here is, finding a way to get this man out. Why dragging him to see whether you have some shame to protect the lives of Anambra people? It's just finding a way to take this person out. And the so-called blockheads out here,
And for anybody that is listening, taking him out like he meant
uh,
like voting him
election,
out,
voting
or
him out. Yeah.
so so that people won't misunderstood what you said.
Okay, it's voting him out. That's what I'm saying, because he has less than 12 months to be there to call an election. So it's just find a way to vote him out and see who another devil we can bring in. One name, we all know the hotspots. People have identified these guys. Their names are as public. Their names are as public as our corruption cases in this country. What is holding the government? And he's telling us about DSS. They are going to bring DSS. Now, I'm going to go try to find out whether our campaign promises can win. This is a governor. So that means these guys have just shot themselves on the leg by saying that for 3 years, we are not doing anything concerning security in Anambra State. That's what this whatever launch or homeland security law and blah 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 on it. Yeah. That's what they've been telling us, that they were sleeping since. Is now they just want to start to secure the lives of Anambra people. And you think these are people who are ready to make life very easy for us to do? Government needs to wake up. Government needs to sow seed of trust. And most importantly, government needs to get to work. This is their number one primary responsibility: the protection of lives and property. It is the number one. That's the only thing. That's the number one thing they're supposed to do first. Well, these guys are coming to tell us as if this is an ad hoc way of doing things. So please, guys, what I'm just trying to say, this statement for me is a political statement. I'm not seeing anything serious that Soludo wants to do to solve security issues. Why I agree that we can keep dragging them. Watching them, look at the vigilantes that we are coming up, the crop of guys. What kind of trainings are you giving them? Who is going to manage them? We knew P2B then. Every head of ABGs had the contact of the CP, had the contact of senior police people that they report to. People make the activities. There was an audit trail. There was an audit trail and the impact of whatever activities they were doing. They were not allowed to move like headless chickens and carrying double barrels and shotguns into communities. We know a lot of these guys and where they come from. How are they putting it out to people to let them understand that these are people that will not harm them in future? These are the kind of police or cops that they are going to work with to make sure that their lives are safe. These are the kind of things I expect somebody to tell people. You don't need to hide it. It's not any secret thing. Everybody know who law enforcement officers, except undercover cops or people who go undercover to gather information. So, please, with all this, I think next phase for some of you followers is to think of how to vote this man out and think of the next devil that can, possibly promise us a promised land that we can, align with, that which is achievable for Anambra State. But with all this, I Chatakweba in a few months, and you see nothing is going to work. I said they start negotiating with these guys to share the 10 million naira. I just admit I say, like Ezechukwu said, it will drop drastically, and you see people trying to negotiate to collect this. How do you incentivize? How do you come out to say things like this? But it's what it is. I don't know. So those that are licensed to hold guns to protect their people, fine. With his self-defense, somebody be attack. But with this, we are still in a serious mess. I can aim on. Thank you.
Charlie, Charlie Dalo.
Okay.
You want to say something? Ichiku something?
No. I don't. Now Mufasa to go next after Charlie.
Mufasa will go next. After Mufasa, Wag, question on Gajugi, but we've held the mic for long. Can Mufasa, because you want the mic. Over to you, my brother.
No. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, great. Good evening, everyone. I'm making no because I'm a Siwo, English and everything into it because don't make no vex. So I wanted to speak about education. Like I'm now the major problem I know na made this thing why they don't have any other direction for their life. They don't feel like they can contribute anything to society, or they don't feel like they can find a way to make something out for themselves. So I wanted to go in details about it, Mana. You guys have discussed from the recap that I just heard. Discussion has already been done about it over the last couple of hours, which I wasn't on the call for, right? So I'll just cut my conversation very short and give a personal example, right? Maybe 2021. Onye Glaze Chukwukamu, Nagota. Maybe 2021 come Naluno. I'm Naluno consistently. I mean, from time to time. 2019 can be doing now on a steady. So 2021 can decide come for my cousins. So I just go to secondary school. Young boys, very able-bodied boys. And every day, I don't know, me ha na-eme. Ha pụta ha na-eje a na-aga farm na-akọ ihe akọcha ihe ha anata ụlọ mee ihe ha na-eme, right? So it was troubling to me, and coupled with the fact that there was this Mkpolumili epidemic at that particular period, right? And that was very troubling to me. Makana, any those boys be doing anything, and these are very able-bodied young men, right? How be doing anything on his side or the other. No matter how the thing goes, later we would bear the consequences of it. And I mean, I've had experience. I'm a professional, so I thought of how would I help these boys so that they won't be a problem to us, just for them not to be a problem to the family in the long term. How would I make sure that these boys see themselves as something useful beyond the situation that they currently find themselves in, right? Just about school, okay, school how should how should I go, all those things, but I didn't get a great response. So at that point, I decided to do something about it, just for my family's sake. You know, I tackle in the future. I decided to say I'm a software developer, so I decided to say, okay, these boys must learn computer, or even just after secondary school, and I rented a place. I put up a few computers in the place, just inside my hometown there. Put up a few computers and assigned one of them, called the manager of the place. I just try to come guide the car. So he was part of the process of setting up the place, painting it, organizing the computers and all those stuff, right? Eventually, he didn't become the manager of the place, right? His siblings and my other cousins, right, didn't get as much interest as I expected them to get. But that something changed within them after that process or during that process, right? They decided, or they found a new zeal and started to pursue a couple of other things, right? And that was just enough for me, right? Kita, a couple of them, in fact, almost all of them are go. Either Hana Mall or Haneme business or something. They're doing something useful. They've discovered a sense of belonging or a sense of purpose, right? From that process, I believe personally, I like to think that it's from that process. Maybe something else, but I like to think that it's from that process, because when I first started having those conversations with them, I didn't see that. Now, I think that it is important, Makana, the government, and these things of right? They're not doing as much as we expect them to do. So I think that is important that everybody, one way or the other, no matter the town, or one person, at least one person can say 1, 2, 3 people, let's find something. This person is this. I think it's important for us to encourage our people to encourage their younger ones. Don't try to gloat over them, right? Right. I was born and raised in Lagos, but I'm from time to time, and I'm not Keta. So don't gloat over these people. show them a purpose. Some of us happen to be a little bit more exposed than the other people in our community. And if we are able to do this within our communities in the little way that we can in every community, right? Even if it's just for your own selfish interests, you have to just enlighten self-interest for your own selfish interest, so that in the next 10 years, you won't have this person that is now a grown-up adult, or 15 years or 20 years, that is now a grown-up adult that thinks that the best thing that he should do with his life is kidnapping people, right? Even if it's just for that selfish interest, not for the sake of the person's, not for the sake of you want the person to be extremely wealthy or whatever it is, right? Just for your own selfish interest. I think a lot of these things will be cautious, because now, if that process didn't go through, or I like to believe, let me not say inconclusive, I like to believe that if I didn't go through that process with these people, have those conversations, pull them in, right, those kind of purpose won't be created. I would like for us in the Igbo, no matter where they are, no matter where they are raised, no matter where they are born, to have a sense of purpose towards their environment. And some of us who are here are educated enough to be able to instill it on our on members of our family, on members of the community, even if it's not immediate. Maybe you are fighting with your family, I don't know, right? Whatever the case may be, open it to the community, right? Ndubego Kabama na this kind of opportunity, right? So I'm a business person also. So after doing this, I decided that, okay, it would be great for us to scale it to communities. I contacted the local government chairman of Agwata, and we did some things with Agwata, took some students to Lagos, and did some excursion with them, took them to Microsoft, Google, MoneyPoint, Google, German Embassy, a few other places, right? So that they can at least let them be exposed beyond just where they were raised, right? And that happened. That went very well. That was 2013. And I started talking to Anambra East local government chairman at the time to see how we can replicate it. Now, the problem that came in then was that if I try to replicate this, I have to buy and rent a new shop, put up computers, do all those sort of things. And to feel some kind of purpose. I'm trying to get the government to do it at the time. Government, they are not that enthusiastic to do those kind of things, especially if they are not returns. Even though the Anambra East local government actually wanted to do it, but you have to push now. Right, so when I looked at this, I said it won't be beneficial for me to continue to push from the government. So I put it online, and I created an online school. And I just want to say through this medium that I have a team that's working on something very similar to what I did, right? And trying to scale it across all communities. And in the next couple of maybe weeks, maybe days, we are going to make announcements in that regard. And if it's something that you are interested in, right, you might want to look out for it. Right, and so that's all I want to say, and I really appreciate the effort on your 118 at this kind of thing, right? I appreciate everybody's contribution, and I think it will make it generally to make our community in the long term better for it. Thank you very much.
My brother, Mufasa Darudin, well done, well done. Ima, I know you back in, I think, a couple of months ago, this issue about when we started discussing this security issue, right? Some of us kept hammering on something. I specifically say that now. What this got at, when we started talking about all this Samuel Ekpa gang and co. Ndị mmadụ a na-asị o na a na-enwebu insecurity n'ala Igbo, o na ihe na-emebu n'ala Igbo gịnị, anyị wee na-eti mkpu na-asị na ndị a na-emetụtazi anyị na njọ. Na ihe a ji emetụta anyị na njọ bụ gịnị? We have never been people na-dependent on government as ndị Igbo. Ọ bụ na ịma n'Igbo ọfụma, ọ bụ na ito n'ala Igbo otu anyị nwasito. Ndị Igbo abụrụ ndị na-dependent on government. We've always done our things. That is why eji nwee the concept of onye agha na nwanne ya akụruo ụlọ, right? Ịgba boy. But the problem is that this level of insecurity enwe kita na these guys modus operandi na-eskezi ndị nwa ga-anata bịa fụ ihe a na-eme wee malụ ka a ga-esi contribute. I'll give you an example. Somebody watching the mellow, correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody be about 3 weeks ago na this space say that Nania Bunyi Yala. That now this guy in where Kafia Airpiece doesn't come home anymore. Doesn't come home anymore. Obunito na Igbo. Iga that na one of the very reliable sources of progress.
From Mbosi.
Yes. Na Bukali, Christmas, Easter, or Iwaji, right? Then mgbe ọbụla a nata mgbe ahụ ka ndị chọọchị ji eme launching. Mgbe ahụ ka obodo communities ji akpọkọ, you know, their illustrious sons and daughters say, bịanụ ka ịkpa. Mgbe ahụ ka those people ga-afụ unu wee commit ya onwe ha, either by means of donation or by getting involved in project and all that. Onye nọ mmadụ nso na-anụ isi ọnụ ya, mana ọ bụ na ị nọrọ mmadụ nso, ịma mmụta ọnụ onye ahụ si esi. Where the problem is that now the level of insecurity enwe kita emekwugozi those people ga anata me something ada anatazi. And this is where this is how we started regressing. I am for the impact kita. Maybe in the next 5-10 years, I got the mistake I may go in the last 10 years with all this unnecessary struggle, wanton killing, and inexplicable insecurity. So, my brother, ihe iji wee mee ihe ime ọkwa maka na ị nata afụ ndị nọ n'ụlọ. A whole lot of people, a whole lot of resourceful people, right, are not coming back, would not risk coming back, right, because of this insecurity. And on insecurity where the worse. And this is why we chose this. This is why IG were not attack these people. IG were not call her out. And that's na hana zotarundi boya. Na hana protect ndị Igbo na hana men cause. I don't want to name names, man. Una magonda eneku. IG will be criticizing her from day one because it's in the Nigerian government nemebu aye mebu. Tora yaka ebe dem na Nigeria, the entire country. 1. 2, we've always emphasized the fact that Ibundi Igbo since 1970 after Ogo, aye depend on government. Government not there, yes. Mana mostly community need develop because of individuals. Imoti sinata for your 2 or 3 of your cousins say ngwakunu jeme ha. O ta ko onye obuna si anata for their cousins si ke ihe unu na eme ke ihe unu no na eme ngobia bo Onitsha ngobia bo Owerri ke ihe iche ime I will finance it. Ke ihe iche ime ọkwa jambụ ka nche ịgba ngwa onye ọbụla n'ebe a ga-agbalụ niile jambụ ngwa je gba njambụ na waị kumbanye school ọnkụ anti anyị enwetegokwa admission ọkwa ego anyị ga-eji wee mee clearance ngwa ego na-ebe ihe m ga-eme gị clearance m ga-akwụ ụgwọ first year ebe ahụ ka ọ na-aka ata akpụ. After first year you should be able to write the rest. Hey, anatakwa m anyị ga-akwụ school fees bụ problem m ego na bụ school fees gị nye gị ya mana onye ahụ ga-anata godino. Mana ebe ọ bụ na the state adigo the entire zone adigo almost so bad that na ndị mmadụ na-atụkwụzi oji nata. Enwere plethora of stories ihe mee ndị mmadụ ndị nata this December. Kebe a ga-ebido kọbịa ebe anụ ọnyanwa mee this approach, this insecurity issue. Ma ndị lay foundation ya ahụ ma ndị na-pilot ya ahụ ma ndị na-encourage ya ebe a ka ha nọ wee gba ndị Igbo ụkwụ ebe a ka anyị nọ wee gbuo nwaanyị ụkwụ asị ndị Igbo na T-junction. The entire Nigerian government can ignore us. Obuna enwe peace na Igbo. Igbo will keep growing. Because I enwego that established concept of na ebe obuna inwete ya nata n'ụlọ, ọ nata n'ụlọ ka o mee something. But we don't come back anymore. People are scared, afraid to come back. Keki ga-esi nwe onye dị ka Allen Onyema. Oda anata, una dey happy. Imoko anytime Allen Onyema to okwu na pun, there will be so. In fact, Allen Onyema bụ a foreign direct investment n'onwe ya to his community, if not even his state. Biko chekie onye chi ime ihe Zenko kwa mmea the other day. He has started over 10 kilometers of road. Ta ka ndị Igbo si eme ya. Achọrọ m ka unu chie m ọbata obie. Because of that, ngakwụrụ ụmụaka niile na-agụ na secondary school ebe a. Eme nke a mee nke ọzọ. Ta ka ndị Igbo si eme ya. Ta ka isi eme ya. This is how we have continued. Even ma Nigeria na-etikpọ even mgbe na Nigeria abandon anyị na ya nọghọ na central government na ya nweghọ participation na ya emeghọ nke anụnwa, we still led in every critical sector nọ na the country. Biko kendi na-lead na JAMB, kendi na-lead na WAEC, kendi na-lead na finance, kendi na-lead na just name it, apart from central politics. All because na anyị na-anata ụlọ. And I bụ ndị na-invest in our place. Anyị bụ ndị na-ada agha nwanne anyị.
Funa onwere ife eji wee nwee onye dị ebube, because whenever he comes back, you know, ife na ịwatago ife na-abata ndị mmadụ aka, and ọ na-abatakwara nne. I was even thinking na ọ ga-apụta when this conversation nọ na-anụ before, that he wanted to come out, you know, for Anambra State election, but amabere m nwebere ọ dịbere solid.
Who is that?
Kenneth Okonkwo.
Obiora, okay, United Nigeria.
Yes, from my place. Yeah.
I even saw a video of him now on Allen's.
Oh yeah, so all from my place goes. So I didn't with that. I'm not that kepu, but it wasn't confirmed. That was why I haven't really spoken about it in a space or tweet. Yeah, when I'm na imago for Anambra State election, governorship election. When I'm what I'm serious about it now, because he hasn't really.
If you remember what that Oge God said, it's this about zoning.
Oh yeah, so
you know those things. All those things play a big role now.
So but can I good? So I just wanted to chip it in.
Yeah. So what ihe ikwu bụ eziokwu, right? Onye ọbụla bụ onye Igbo nọ ebe a, unu ga-aghọta ihe anyị na-ekwu. From minute one in the life of an Igbo person, ego ọbụla bata gị n'aka, half of the things ị na-eche bụ na ka ihe ị ga-eme na village unu. Ka ihe some people na-eme ya ka e wee kpọọ ha afa, ma not something. Or something ka ọ bụ. In fact, na ifo mmadụ mee ihe eje ebe ahụ gha nye ego enu. Ịma na all those things, ọkwa all those things a na-ene anya, o nwere ike na-ene anya no nonsense na onweghị ihe ọ bụ. When you look at the economics of it, ọkwa that thing bụ development o. All that thing ị na-afụ ka development si eru grassroots. Mmadụ bi ebe anụnwa, ebe a na-alụ ụlọ. Nwoke ma anata afụ n'udo dị, sị ka alụba ụlọ naanị ya. All of a sudden, ụmụ nwaanyị niile nọ ebe ahụ retire go onu, or our grandmothers na-enwebu ihe ha na-alụ, bịazie ebe ahụ lebezi ihe. Before you know it, it will keep them busy. Money will go into their pockets. They will solve their problem. Ndị be ha na-ehi mmiri, akpọ ndị kapịnta abịa lụọ ya, ego abanye the carpenter man aka, the carpenter man eje n'afịa bụ unu, jeje gote ihe, jeje gote ngwa ọrụ ya. So this is how economy works. But you need to come home. Peace. Ima, nke bụ eziokwu bụ the source of our progress na ala Igbo. Progress I record go after the war, right? Mee ndị anyị na ha nụ ọgụ na-anya ha na-eti mkpu. In fact, ilu a na-akpọkwanụ gị ilu na-asị anụnwa, ịma nwata bulu abụ bulu ilu na-asị anụnwa a na-akpọ abụrụkwa na onwe ihe ime, ọ na-aghọtahụ ka isi aga. People aghọtahụ, when they look at you, they cannot demystify you. That ibubu anyị round is simply because na enwe peace and I had one night. So onye kpata ego n'ezi ọnaba n'ụlọ. Ụlọ ahụ ị na-eje alụ, ọsọkwa ya bụ two rooms ka elonye na bunu na village, right? 10 million naira, 5 million naira abanyego na economy village unu. Ọ na-enwe multiplier effect. Onye nwebe economics in a very simple term. Mana ime ihe dị na ime ego niile aha kịta anụ ego niile aha niile float to Lagos. Ọkwa unu afugo the report release about 30 December. Unu afugo report release.
They said 60% of the visitors came from the south.
Exactly. Ego ne ka hotels. Ego ne ka hotels na Lagos make. Lagos, Ogun State, Ondo State make. We are talking about billions. Nwanne ego ahụ bụ ego na touch down n'Ọka n'Owerri na Enugu. So ire n'anya na-asị amarọ ka ndị Igbo si aga n'iru, even though a na-efiri na a na-akpagbu ha, amarọ ka ha si aga n'ihu. Ta isi aga n'ihu. See, you don't progress by inwe one person na government. Ego ahụ ends in that person's family. Mana inwe over 20,000 people weta obele ego bata n'obodo, it makes way more impact. That is why unu na-ege campaign, at least the most visible campaign onye ọbụla na-afụ na abụkarị American presidency. A na-ekwu maka middle class, a na-ekwu maka low income people, that this policy is targeted at them. Nwanne anyị nwa bụ middle class, anyị nwa bụ ndị na-empower, anyị nwa bụ ndị na-build up that our low income people. Because every time ị na ijefu your grandmother, ijefu your grandmother, ifu your cousin nọ ebe ahụ, ọ gwa gị ọnkụ na ya na-anakwa school nwanne echi, enye ya 10,000 naira. O nwere ike na 10,000 naira na-enye na onwe ihe ọ bụ. By the time all of us nọ na space a nye three people 10,000 naira ma anyị na village. That is what grows our economy.
Exactly. Just not to cut you short. You remember those days in Naono, in the Lakara, all this your
exactly. I don't
make the money for the whole year during that Christmas period.
Do you know that?
The whole year.
Do you know that I know one guy? I know one guy, right? Na Igbo, ji n'Enugu mgbe ahụ, ji iya akara. Wee zụọ ụmụ nwanne ya niile na university na-esut. I am not making this thing up, guys. For real. Iya akara. The guy akara ya na-atọ pieces. You understand? So ma ndị na-ere ọkpa, ma mgbe ihe na-anaba iruo na night mile igoro ọkpa, you notice na ụmụ nwaanyị ka abanye ịgba ashawo, ụmụaka ka abanye n'izu ori, mana mma ha bịa ọsị ha gịnị from childhood. Nwoke minata from school bịa ka isi ọkpa, isicha ọkpa ya pụọ night mile, ndị si esi na-anata.
Ellen bread na night.
Exactly. Ịkwụsị na night mile igoro ọkpa. So nwaanyị ahụ bịazi ọ na-asị ụmụ ya, unu ga-aga school. Ima why? Because business ya na night mile na flourish. Ka ihe business ya ja flourish because watching a melon na anata, eze chikwere na anata, ka ineke na anata, uche na anata. You understand?
Ogidi in the 90s, they got akara.
Guys,
in front of this hospital. Ogidi to go and buy akara.
O nwere ebe a na-ele nkwụ ọcha n'ọgbụ. Ọ bụ na-enwube nkwụ ọcha ọgbụ. In fact, anyị na-ekuni job by 4 o'clock ụtụtụ ka anyị wee gote nkwụ na-emetụba anyị. All those things bụ investment. So what?
Udi.
Exactly. So imagine. So we all have things. We all have good examples to show for this, right? And when a lot of people na go akwụkwọ n'Owerri, na-emechi akwụkwọ, they will go and do 0-hour contract jobs na hotels. All that thing ka ha ga-ejikwulu onwe ha ụgwọ akwụkwọ. So when you look at it, na asị na gọọmenti enweghị gọọmenti presence na Igbo, mana ndị Igbo na bọọlụ. Nwanne, mgbe everybody na-ebe akwa na Nigeria, anyị na bọọlụ. Mana enwe ihe gba anyị n'ụkwụ. This sit at home nonsense. This nonsense ideology na-achị ịchọtara unu n'igwe. That is the worst thing mee anyị as ndị Igbo. Nwanne, for federal government enyere anyị allocation. I'm just saying, but I'm saying hypothetically, allocation. Man, I need peace na Igbo. I can go far ahead of the rest of the parks. Everybody know this because all you need to have is peace. In Abun, they get 200 million naira. I guarantee you that 50% of that money stays in your village. That 50%, when they send them money to university, get refurbish a whole lot of people's financial life. That is how I'm just giving you economics 101. In a developed countries, this is how it happens. Uta guys is up ngozi kafia obieze kwesịrị. Uta guys is up Peter Obi anyway. All those guys they got school na UNN. Most of them enweghị soft landing in life. Bottom line, he's here from rich family, but they became something. Because from all those little brothers, mgbe pick Mike, akọwalukwu unu ka o si wee jee iji ya n'Ọnịcha. Bellamy has said it so many times. Ka o si jee iji ya n'Ọnịcha, ka ụwa si wee tụaligidi ya ọkwa from ego eme na business Ọnịcha, ego bata n'Igbo through these things anyị na-ekwu ka o ji wee kunie. These things is everywhere. So insecurity ọ bụ na ị na-ebe a na-anụ ihe anyị na-ekwu solu na ndị na-asọpọtụ ihe a so na ndị na-eme ihe a nwanne ị na-agba onwe gị you are shooting yourself in the foot. Ị na-emekwa onwe gị ichekwa na anyị nwa ka ị na-eme ichekwa na ndị ọzọ ka ị na-eme you are doing yourself you are setting your generations 10-20 years back and others are moving forward. I'll hand the mic over to Adidemili. Adidemili over to you. Sorry, Adidemili over to you. Because you could
See, I no go as of 2011, 2012 years. See, ego di no Onitsha. Do you understand? Onitsha was one of the place in the banking and our lobby. Bankers in 18 now they want to work in Onitsha. Kahano na branch or any of their branch in Onitsha. A businessman in an account here, in a 400 million naira. I kid you not. In a 100 million naira. Kebo they make here na main market. On the main market on all these markets, we come on to ribbon. Obu for the abulu no kwa sewing material, this thing materials. See, ego di na Igbo. Do you understand? Ego di na Igbo. Eze Chikwelu, ikwugo di ihe niile ikwu. Mana ka ị na-anya onwe problem dị na Igbo now. Some of the youths nọ na Igbo. Ịnọla na-akpa nkata with them. Like, if that something is wrong somewhere. For me, something is wrong somewhere. They don't reason the way you reason. Like, enwere ka echiche ha, ọ dịka ignorance is so covered around ka ha si eche echiche, ka ha si eme omume. And that is why maybe budakwa ya back to family system. Family system na-fail gradually na Igbo in a way. Before ifu nwaanyị tụrụ ime mkpuke, ọ na-afịa arụ mgbe ahụ, ọ ife ifele. Ma ọ bụ asị na onye a na-ezu ori, family na-afụ ya asị ife ifele. But these days, ị ga-afụ egel ọ nọrọbe nne na nna ya mụọ ofu mụọ ịbụa, okiero. A na-eme n'ụwa na-echenji all the new life. Ifu nwata nwoke ọ na-aṅụ mkpụrụ mmiri na-eme ihe a, ịgwa parents ọ sị gị ka ekwa n'ihe anyị eme nka. Do you understand? Isi a jee chọọ aka ọlụ ka ị nwe ọlụ ka ịma ife na enidi ichenjibe this ideology. Bidokwa gwakwa our people na ọlụ aka na ịgba bọyị a ịma ema na complain ndị ọga na-agbacha bọyị nka. Nobody started it easy. Or dịrị easy. Be with somebody. I used to tell people, living with somebody, it is not easy. N'ezie gị ga-agba bọyị. Focus on ihe iji ime. It's a matter of time. I used to tell young people this thing, that when you're learning something, your aim is you want to learn this thing. My own is to learn this. At the end, is it not a matter of time? I leave. Most people will tell you that next na if any head is settle her, you'll be shocked. How bido that it wasn't easy for them. Mana these young people, ha lukwa na ịgba bọyị under 1 year, 2 years. Ọ dị ha ka ha zubi nya ha tọ na ọ gaghị agwa ha 1 ha agwa 2 agwa 100. Ha chụ ya n'ike si butie. Onwere business gradually is going more of online, like physical dealing of gradually. Do you understand? So mbia na-akọwa young people a lot of work enwe ọlụ a ga-alụ, a lot of young people n'ala Igbo, from my own observation, amarom, if you sit them down him, did you know his story? Did you know how he started? Some people when they do you know he's even a university of the problem n'ala Igbo? Unu ekpelega ndị dibịa na-agwọ oke ite asị gị na gị bịa na aga not against it. I believe in religion tolerance. Mee omenala gị, mee you have to work for whatever you believe in such. No, maybe mixture. That's for me, I don't believe that. Now, for me, I believe ịkọwalia nwa nwatakịrị ịnọbiani kọwalia doo ya anya. Most of these children high rate of drug taking n'ala Igbo these days, and ke ndị na-ebubata ihe a n'ala Igbo ha abụrọ strangers, ọ bụrọ ndị mmụọ ma ya, ọ ndị Igbo anyị na-ebubata all these things wee na-emebi young people. Ọ ịmụ ihe niile a na-ebreed insecurity. Ka o nwere onye nke gị n'ebe ahụ ofu mbọsị bụrụ victim of nda in a way, maybe ndị ori ha, ndị ya gbasie mkpụrụ mmiri. Let's start reporting Tonu ya bịa malia ties osi Lagos kpọrọ ndị Kotonu ya bịa malia plastic napia esi nke a bụkwa ọ ga-adị ka 10 bags of cement godo ka anyị ga-use godo ebe a. Okwu ịpụta n'ala Igbo a esi ka ihe akpọgide fon kpọgide iyi At the end, the person will not do it. Then you spend extra and go put on yours. All reason, all can do all work by CM. Mani puta, Okwandi Toga and Yoruba. Ipute say ha ke oga look at, we'll go and do your survey. Hagamechale emeli measurement. Oga see your hemeligi survey price and every other thing. He wete. He send delegate. If for that sign na ha app. I kid you not. God, that na hey go send them forward everything. If you can see package here, he knows the road now. Nsi angwa zenya na ebo ga wete key. And he will go do the work. He will sleep there. Do the work under how many days? Chaya onataba. Icho onye ba anyị chọta anyị alụla anyị ọlụ welding. Ọkwa ihe a ka anyị kọgidere ọnụ bagide mba igbo ọsị gị nya wee jee meeting wee jezie meeting mgbọsị ọsị gị don frya na-epush unu back. O nwere ihe nwe isi ọganiru ha ya na-ekwu ebe a nsọsọ a na-akọ akụkọ Fulani isi Fulani ihe nwere isi na ọ bụ na-esiri anụ ọma eme ihe POP mụ ihe a. As a graduate, you're somehow ahead because you know how to, because of one course you go na university na Nigeria ama nkuzili something about management part of it, even in engineering. And engineering management and emekali a final year course, you learn how to package your work and everything. Okay, push you go ahead. No aka. No, na people these things. Young people that you can do a lot. Na Igbo, anacho services na Igbo. All the festive period. Anata imokwa ibule cleaner, we clean place to make sweet money. It's so painful na me nwere ego na-achọ makachi ihe my plans ebe ahụ is set something consume as onye Igbo before gee ntị ebe a na-agụ maka na ụdị akụkọ a na-akọ ọ bụrụ na ọ bụrụ akụkọ ga-eme gị ọganiru ma anything, stay away from that discussion, walk away from it. Ga-amụta ihe ị ga-eji build yourself. I don't know it all, but I've learned a lot on this Twitter. Especially on spaces. So, je n'ọgbakọ ebe ị ga-amụ
So we'll circle back to them. Stephanie, biko ebe ọ bụ na Bellamy anọrọ ya, Stephanie biko ị gaa ka Sheikh gaa, then we'll go down.
Okay. I love this space. And I'm out of space this long. Yeah, my second time, like my so one major reason Njenje like here this space is that now we are all like that sense of ownership. I'm not to bring each other together, like because we know that this is our home. Okuna, but let me tell you, the world is shifting towards Africa, but some people are got being West agwụgo ịghọtago West agwụgo akpachamanya sight in terms of like in the next 40 years, 50 years, ma that north side anyị ka a ga-alaghachita because north side anyị bụ ihe nwere youth, side anyị bụ ihe nwere population. Ịghọtago ndị side nke a ha agwụwa. See compound interest. That's one. In fact, I really love what Ada Idemili said. Everything she said from A anything about how much I'm like okay, I tweeted the other time that I always tell them I didn't start driving Jaguar in my 20s. So in your 20s, that doesn't mean that you can't drive a Link or whatever, anything. But I'm just trying to give them the idea that all these things compound. You might start with a Corolla or even a Okada. From Okada, you enter a Keke Napep. From Keke Napep to bus. From bus to 2 buses, 3 buses, luxurious buses. From luxurious buses, you enter another level. One thing I can't understand is how people in their 20s think that they're going to have something that somebody in their 60s have. I just don't understand that. You see a man living in a mansion, and you look at this man is already like in his working for 30, 40 years. So it still boils down to what Ada Idemili said. Anytime we encounter all these young children, they don't have to be 10 years. That's why I always tell them 10 years, always invest. Okay, this thing I'm doing now, I will start seeing the result 10 years. You might start seeing the result like in 5 years. But I don't like the idea of people always saying, I wasn't even, that's why I don't know how to use Facebook. I never used Facebook because I was 100% focused, you see, and I made sure I stay out of crime. The job I'm doing today, if to say I did any smallest crime, I won't have this type of job. Now I go to one job, the first day I get paycheck, you will look your paycheck, you see money, you be like, what the heck? What am I gonna do with this money? You will see money, your head will shake. or you will get locked up. Its lifespan is very shortened. You are a armed robber. 2-3 years, you are done. And this is just maximum. You understand? So, but if you watching Emere, thank you so much for hosting this space. In fact, I really enjoyed this.
The talking. We can do a whole 10 paper on the problems happening about with insecurity. A critical thing that we've identified is the lack of leaders. Because I've talked about the young people and all of that. The truth is, every corner you go to, there is a problem point. Because, for example, the education, we want to question the kind of education the kids are getting. If we want to complain about the people who are in their 30s today, have we forgotten that there used who was like the in thing? They are getting to the point now whereby the Yahoo is no longer paying them as such. What does it not happen today? Go to Yahoo Plus. Yahoo Plus is nothing but organ trafficking, because by the time if gone past that point, an election is in front of us. Are we going to have something, or are we just going to lament again and lament again, and no longer assessing hospitals because they cannot afford them, or because the hospitals cannot afford them, or because the hospitals cannot actually do them, or they go to hospitals and there are no doctors, there are no nurses. When we look at that critical amount, we can now be able to say, okay, what can we actually do? These are the key actions. So this is where I think I want my submission to go. Solutions. And that I'm just gonna, because I'm
We'll converge again on Thursday morning. Thursday. I will say 9 o'clock Nigerian time. So some of our friends, and then we also based on updated version of parenting. They don't even care what we are doing. So, are you doing the same thing? Making that conversation on Thursday. And then the upper we discussed in that space. And then we talked about na March is going to we're going to
Stephanie, you will go just 1 second. Apart from okay, I've
Okay.
frozen this guy. Okay, if you're cheesy.
Okay, thank you so much. Just like 1 minute. Ihe ọzọ m cheta na ịma na asị na okwu na-abịa abịa na obere ọrụ, different places. Achọrọ m ka anyị bido na-agbashizi mbọ ike mmụọ. Ọwụ na ya na-agba mbọ because ọ bụrụ na ya na-agba mbọ anyị agaghị anọ na this level. Mana achọrọ m ka people now, ha ji nwayọọ rịbachacha na powerful positions n'obodo a now. Ịbịa Google CEO, ịma onye ebe oshi, ịbịa Google the other one CEO, he niile asịchabe ha. So abịazie now ha sị gị gịnị na a na-eme remote employees nka ha na-ebunacha that whole thing to be ha. So anyị nwa nọ side a na uche anyị bido deba this thing ka anyị nwee ike na-ebunakwa sọmọrụ tobe anyị kwa ka ụmụ nwanne anyị bidokwa lachaba aka, that kind of a thing. Ha bido udo ọrụ ajụ like that, ndị be anyị bido nwetebe ọrụ like that. Onye mụgodo ụmụ 10 sef onwe ego ọ ga-eji bido banyere nwetebe power, nwetebe ọchịchị gbagobe enu so that anyị nyere ndị side anyị aha na-ama the thing. That's all I can say. Thank you to everyone that has contributed, both the listeners, both the speakers, both the co-hosts and hosts. Thank you guys. Love you all. Bye.
all right. Dalon Dubai. I think we'll come to Chanunu. You are all appreciated. So I'm making on your bona. As this weekend bag I'm alive. We'll convert again on Thursday. Like I said, 9 a.m. Can we continue on Defenders? So even now, you can follow us, or you can just set up and look out for the notification once we schedule this space. The men at this space, I never tell them this space every week, sometimes twice a week. Men supporting men. Diboji wepolo. Often wakon nazo chim sem gaba. So this shout out to Fa. Anamafo on your down